Next, Su Xing stuck behind Wu Xinjie, instructing her with his hands. On the other hand, this satisfied the knowledge star's slight charm, provoking Wu Xinjie's coquettish glances that were smooth as silk. Of course, using Su Xing's words, this was to train her willpower. Wu Xinjie's progress was lightning fast. Her shooting movements were increasingly fast and precise. Su Xing was very clear that if they were to use Silver Blade to take a dominant position in battle against Liangshan continent's cultivators, other than a surprise attack and cartridge quality, it was quite important that the gunner herself have clear sight. Su Xing suddenly recalled that Earth had sniper rifles that had a range reaching several miles. Even in Liangshan continent, that was an invisible method to kill someone, and sniping was more formidable than some magic weapons. Could Silver Blade develop in this aspect? Although handguns and sniper rifles were worlds apart. However, based on Su Xing's tool refinement experience, this was not impossible. Just as Su Xing was inwardly pondering, there was suddenly a clamor outside the hall. The voices rose and fell in succession, very excited. That woman's bow and arrow are so powerful, to surprisingly kill a supercluster puppet in one strike. Quickly go look. That is a true genius. A star general. Su Xing paused. He looked at Lin Yingmei and Wu Xinjie. Let's go take a look. Hua Wanyue stood in the Crystal Arrow Pavilion's center floating hall. In front of her was a floating plaza with wisps of white smoke. The vapor obscured the plaza, and from time to time, several hundred puppets would appear in the plaza. These puppets were varied in size and charged at her in a flock. The next instant, Hua Wanyue pulled her bow and loosed an arrow. It flit by swift as a meteor. 100 puppets were eliminated in succession. Some were even pierced together into a clump by the arrow. Her archery was breathtaking. Truly worthy of being an elder sister. Your archery is incomparable to have killed 100 puppets in just several seconds. A woman wearing a sinister mask was to the side. Her figure was quite charming, like a developing flower bud. If she was to be judged on figure alone, men would go wild for her, but when some cultivators continued to raise their gaze from her legs up to her face, they would inevitably find an expression that was frightening. That ugly mask that spoiled everything was full of ferocity. By Su Xing's word, he indeed recognized her. Prominent star ugly prince consort Xian Yunshang Hua Wanyue lowered her arms and took a deep breath. She gracefully brushed away her hair and haughtily said, whether it be gold or dirt, bring it out and let Wanyue experience it. In terms of archery, it was obvious that hero star Hua Rong had absolute pride and the qualifications to be arrogant. In arrow or spear, she could not be underestimated by even top-notch martial generals. Against the provocation of the woman in front of her, Hua Wanyue scoffed. Tisk, tsk. Too much conceit will bring trouble. Xian Yunshang smiled somewhat induced shivers. Yunshang will be very eager to see those beautiful and graceful lips of elder sisters to kiss an ugly beasts. The cultivators watching from the side were dumbstruck, and they grew restless. Star generals making a bet. The hero star. That is the legendary hero star. Wow, such a graceful woman. Not even a princess could compare. Star generals are truly beautiful. And who is this? So ugly. A bet? No way. Su Xing at this time walked over and witnessed this scene. The surroundings were full of cultivators. They were unable to practice archery, and they completely crammed to General Hall. Su Xing was not at all surprised to see Hua Wanyue in the Crystal Arrow Pavilion. Seeing that ugly prince consort was not surprising either, but the strange thing was that the two women appeared quite at odds, incompatible as fire and water. There was a faint scent of gunpowder in the air. But this was not a star duel either. The Crystal Dragon Palace was very strict about fighting. Young lord. Wu Xinjie came over. What's happening? Su Xing asked her. Young lord, you absolutely are not able to remember what you did to Hua Wanyue? Wu Xinji covered her smile. There was a sort of craftiness as if she had gotten payback. Su Xing seemed to see a fox tail sprouting from Wu Xinjie's butt. Su Xing then asked her what was going on. Wu Xinjie answered, saying that the crystal arrow pavilion had a custom. Without using any flying swords, magic weapons, or magic, if a cultivator could kill the most number of puppets in 1 second, they could spend 1 day free of charge in the crystal arrow pavilion, free to expense as they wished. Hua Wanyu felt this challenge was practically custom-made for her. Therefore, the proud hero star naturally did not place it in her eyes. In fact, the crystal arrow pavilion indeed did not have any cultivator that had any qualifications to contest the hero star. Logically, Hua Wanyu created the record number of kills on the puppets, but at this time, that black-clothed, demon-masked woman appeared. Anyways, it was not known what she said, probably a provocation or the like, but the two suddenly made a bet for a competition. If Hua Wanyu lost, she would kiss Xian Yunshang's star beast, flower tribute. Hua Wanyu did not even ask what would happen if she won. She just began firing her bow and arrows, thus, Su Xing saw what had just happened. This truly is nonsense. Lin Yingmei furrowed her brow. She gazed at the Xian Yunshang who made this preposterous request with some disdain. It is not strange at all for the ugly prince consort to make such a request. Wu Xinjie thought this was inevitable. Ugly prince consort loved to assail countesses, princesses, and the like with obscenities whenever she saw one, and it would be odd for the ugly prince consort to not make such a request in the face of the hero star's graceful temperament. Will Wanyu lose? Su Xing said in a low voice. She absolutely will. Wu Xinjie did not hesitate to answer. Will Wanyu's archery lose to the ugly prince consort? Lin Yingmei was skeptical. Wu Xinjie shook her head. Of course she will not lose in archery, but she will absolutely lose this contest. Why? The reason was very simple. This was a competition to see who could make the puppets not cross a threshold in a certain amount of time in addition to who could kill the most. Hua Wanyu's archery was unmatched under heaven. Hitting 100 out of 100 shots was inevitable, but she had forgotten that the ugly prince consort's archery was similarly unparalleled. Her continuous volleys with one hand far outclassed Hua Wanyu's fire with ease. In the same amount of time, under similar conditions, in a contest of kill count, Hua Wanyu not losing would perhaps be mercy on the ugly prince consort's part. As expected, the cultivators erupted into a hubbub. From the window, they saw Xian Yunshang's hand hold a black as ink concealed bow and arrow. The atmosphere stagnated. Suddenly, several dozen puppets flew out. The girl was calm and unhurried. Her hands raised the bow, and with practically lightning speed, bang, she continuously pierced them. Several dozen puppets were cleanly and quickly done away the moment they appeared. Immediately, there was another dozen puppets. This was the first time Su Xing had seen Xian Yunshang's archery, and he was quite impressed. Her archery movements were smooth and easy. Puppets appeared from every direction and were accurately struck, no misses. In the process of shooting, her bow and arrow speed was natural and unforced. Her timing was incomparably perfect, and the arrows that flew out dispersed. Occasionally, multiple arrows fluttered out, occasionally, there was a continuous barrage. But in the blink of an eye, nearly 100 puppets were destroyed. Hua Wanyu saw Xian Yunshang's archery that reached perfection, and her complexion instantly became unsightly. As Wu Xinjie expected, in the end, Xian Yunshang's kill count far surpassed Hua Wanyu's by more than 100. Elder sister Wanyu, should you not kiss my baby? Xian Yunshang's hand gestured and summoned flower tribute. That grotesque star beast made everyone who looked at it retch. Those men wrung their heads and merely felt this was a waste. Of course, a few mentally dark cultivators were very pleased to see a beauty like Wanyu humiliated. Hua Wanyu was expressionless. No one could see what she was thinking of. Ugly prince consort, I have erred in my judgment. Hua Wanyu nodded and conceded defeat. Elder sister Wanyu has magnanimity, as expected, Yunshang is impressed. Xian Yunshang said. Hua Wanyu walked in front of that ugly star beast, her brows slightly wrinkled. Fortunately, such an embarrassing thing was not seen by that man, which was to her luck. Hua Wanyue wondered what she was doing, still thinking of these trifles. She took a deep breath, when just at this moment, a chillingly familiar voice made Hua Wanyue's body shudder. Wait a sec. Everyone was somewhat displeased that such a good atmosphere was broken, and just as they were about to curse, they saw Su Xing. Everyone's faces completely changed, completely losing color. Supervoid cultivator. Every cultivator subconsciously took a step back. Xian Yunshang wrinkled her brow, feeling this man was a bit familiar. Then, she spotted Gong Sun Huang and immediately recognized this was Wu Song's man. You again. Su Xing. Hua Wanyue was caught in an awkward situation and really wished to first kill Su Xing then go die herself. Su Xing. What are you thinking of doing? Is the hero saving the beauty? Xian Yunshang coldly said. I do not need him to. Hua Wanyue's words were immediately interrupted by Wu Xinjie. The knowledge star smiled cunningly. Wanyue is but my young lord's wife. If she makes a bet like this, as her lord husband, how can he sit by and watch? Does the world have this logic? Everyone, please speak. Those cultivators could only nod in agreement. Please, even if the supervoid cultivator reneged and reversed black and white, they could only agree with him. What are you babbling about? Xian Yunshang was stunned. At the current stage, Wu Xinjie was not worried that Su Xing's identity would be exposed. As for any of those opportunities that could pull Hua Wanyue and Su Xing closer, the knowledge star would not miss them. Hua Wanyue was unable to tolerate the knowledge star's nonsense, but Wu Xinjie was smart to make Lin Yingmei go bring Hua Wanyue over. Seeing Lin Yingmei, Hua Wanyue's weak spot was instantly hit, and she was unable to speak out. If she saw her sorry appearance, Hua Wanyue felt it was better to pretend to be Su Xing's wife. How is this possible? Xian Yunshang's tone was grave, but she appropriately laughed. Your man has good tricks, to be able to have Wu Song, Lin Chong, and even obtain Hua Rong. But today, I will have his wife kiss your servant's flower tribute. Could it be that you are prepared to renounce your honor, to go back on your word, hero star? Hua Wanyue grit her teeth. Who said anything about reneging? Su Xing at this time knew to stand out. He coldly looked at Xian Yunshang and said, your servant can always take the place of my wife, correct? Are you saying you can break your servant's record? Xian Yunshang jeered. Exactly. Su Xing was cold. Ha, 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 ha. Shuang Yunshang laughed out loud, honestly not understanding him. The other cultivators felt that Su Xing was mad. The continuous fire archery that Xian Yunshang exhibited just now was absolutely astonishing. Even a blind person could tell the ugly prince consort's status. Afraid? Su Xing smiled. That malevolent mask appeared even more evil. Fine, if you lose, I want all your wives present to deep kiss your servant's flower tribute, do you dare? How do you girls feel? Su Xing turned his head back and grinned. Wu Xinjie was a bit dumbstruck. To be frank, her heart was still perturbed. That was the ugly prince consort, an adept at rapid-fire arrows. She did not feel that Su Xing could win. You are mad, there is no need to do such a thing for me. Hua Wanyue did not wish to allow Lin Yingmei to suffer humiliation, and she immediately shouted. Your servant agrees. Lin Yingmei bluntly answered, not saying another word. Gong Sun Huang also nodded. The two girls were very strong in their belief of Su Xing, then Xinjie shall also agree. Wu Xinjie said to Xian Yunshang, however, if we win, what shall be the price you pay? Whatever. No need for a whatever. You shall take off your mask and deep kiss our young lord. What? Xian Yunshang's pupils shrunk. Scared? Wu Xinjie giggled, like a cunning fox. Xinjie, no need for that. Su Xing shook his head. Young lord, she has insulted your wives, making her direct kiss is letting her off. Wu Xinjie pouted. What, Xian Yunshang, do you only dare talk big? Fine. Xian Yunsheng spat out the one word. Her eyes were full of sharpness, like a cold knife, but regardless, her pride was similar to hero star Huarong's. The ugly prince consort was very confident in her archery, and she did not believe that a star master could outdo her. This is a matter between star generals. If you do not wish to be destroyed, then you had best leave. Wu Xinjie giggled. She suddenly waved her hand. The nine-tailed spirit fox Hua Shui released dazzling light mind image to make everyone leave. The place instantly was quiet. If you have the ability, then let your servant see. If you actually win, Xian Yunsheng shall honor her word. Xian Yunsheng's voice was cold. I will not use a bow and arrow. This should suffice. Su Xing flashed silver blade. A firearm. Xian Yunsheng softly snorted. The Crystal Arrow Pavilion's rules indeed allowed firearms, but although this firearm was quick, because one was unable to touch the projectile, the sense of touch was greatly lost and accuracy greatly reduced. Liangshan continent's firearms were practically extinct. She never thought that this man would play with this. So long as you use normal fire thunder rounds. Sure. Xian Yunsheng showed a mocking smile. She waited to see a joke. Su Xing stood in the air and shut his eyes, recalling that long-distance sensation. At high speeds to make even faster decisions. To give the illusion that time had stopped. Following a boom, the array activated. When Su Xing opened his eyes, his pupils were clear as spring water, his seriousness very intriguing. Xian Yunsheng could not believe that a star master was capable of surpassing her. Even the hero star could not compare to her archery. This man was no more powerful than the hero star, and prominent star ugly prince consort firmly believed that Su Xing was no more than a bastard who wanted to enter the limelight. Hua Wanyue, you really found an arrogant man. Shut up. Hua Wanyue shouted. This was the first time her gaze had been drawn by Su Xing. You do not actually believe your man can win, do you? Ha, ha. Seeing her so concerned, Xian Yunsheng mocked her. But Hua Wanyue's expression began to become astonished. In the end, she was more and more shocked. At the same time, Xian Yunsheng heard shocking explosions. The sound was unordinary, and each explosion would destroy several dozen puppets. What was happening? Impossible! Xian Yunsheng shouted in astonishment. The scene that appeared before her made the ugly prince consort overwhelmed. Su Xing did not stand outside the hall like she did. Rather, he had put himself in the middle of the array. To a marksman, this was a fatal and stupid distance. Xian Yunsheng felt that Su Xing was basically bluffing, and she waited for him to flee with his tail between his legs. At this time more than 24 puppets appeared. Su Xing raised his gun, and with one leg as his axis, rotated 360 degrees. Then, each puppet emitted a series of explosive noises as he perfectly fired at practically the same level. Xian Yunsheng's body shook. 2. What sort of otherworldly gun technique was this? She had never seen a marksman dare to be so bold. Impossible, 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 impossible. Xian Yunsheng had practically shouted herself hoarse in her heart, but the result was obvious. Su Xing exploited this method to enormously increase his shooting efficiency, and his 360-degree spins could also make the bullets save time leaving the barrel, a so-called two birds with one stone. Just as how prominent star ugly prince consort had the advantage over the hero star's archery, Su Xing's handgun naturally held an advantage over her. Xian Yunsheng was dumb as a wooden chicken. There had never been a firearm so effective. This man's firearm was very formidable. Xian Yunsheng drew in a breath. Young lord, you truly are a genius. Wu Xinjie sent him a kiss. Right, a certain little sister. Have you finished preparing? She looked at ugly prince consort Xian Yunsheng. Flower tribute snorted from nearby, fighting for justice for its mistress, stomping its four hooves. Flower tribute. Xian Yunsheng stopped her star beast's impulse. She coldly looked at Su Xing. No wonder Hua Wanyue would fancy you. It appears you are not an idiot. Little sister, are you still unwilling right now? Humph. Xian Yunxiang grabbed her mask. She hesitated for an instant but still took it off in the end. You are first person to see your servant's true visage. Xian Yunxiang lowered her head, somewhat resentful. Su Xing felt perhaps she was this way because she was disfigured. He shook his head to stop this farce. Xiang Yunxiang already raised her head. The ugly prince consort was not ugly as he had imagined. In fact, each star maiden was a beauty that could ruin a country. Su Xing was not surprised. The girl's lips were red and her teeth white, and her cheeks a gentle rouge. Her complexion was picturesque with a shapely face. This beauty combined with that alluring figure made for a breathtaking belle. Why would you wear that kind of mask when you are so pretty? Is it only because of the ugly prince consort nickname? Su Xing instinctively asked. He naturally was immune to charm. Xian Yunxiang never thought Su Xing would ask this question. You men naturally judge by appearances. Looking at you makes me feel disgusted. Su Xing, you really are incorrigible. Wu Xinjie was somewhat unhappy at the ugly prince consort's unkind words. Xian Yunxiang fanned her sleeve and walked over, biting her lip. Hua Wanyue inwardly wrinkled her brow, her heart opposing what was about to happen next. She did not like this sort of coercion. How was that kind of person any different from a man who made threats? Her heart inwardly sighed until she heard Su Xing's refusal. Forget it. Something like a kiss is better left to the person you like, eh? Young lord. She had but created such a good opportunity. Xian Yunxiang was taken aback. She had never thought this man would answer like this. She looked at his expression. It was completely serious, and in his eyes, she probably basically did not enter his gaze. Suddenly, the ugly prince consort had an unstoppable fury. You dare look down on me? You think that Xian Yunxiang will force a kiss? 3. The ugly prince consort suddenly withdrew and fired an arrow. This arrow came very fast and very abrupt. Su Xing already had defenses, and when he gestured with his hand, at this moment, a beautiful figure flashed by. Bang! The arrow penetrated into her body, for she had stopped the arrow for Su Xing. Wanyue. Su Xing shouted. Humph. Xian Yunxiang was stunned again. Originally, she still had doubts, but her heart already believed that the hero star had honestly found this man to be husband and wife. You dare disgrace your servant, in the future, I will definitely not forgive you. She mounted flower tribute and left at high speed. Don't chase. Su Xing stopped Lin Yingmei. Lin Yingmei put down her weapon and walked over. Wanyue, are you alright? Why did you suddenly charge over? I already had a defense. Su Xing chided her. Laying against this man's chest, while Wanyue forcibly propped herself up, I do not want to owe you anything more. She plucked out this arrow. Hua Wanyue's face was pale, each word spoken with cold resolute. I will never pay you back. Although ugly prince consort Xian Yunxiang's arrow was sudden, it did not have too much power. Hua Wanyue's life was not in danger. I actually owe you much more. Su Xing's sigh reached the bottom of Hua Wanyue's heart. The hero star's delicate body shivered, and her heart became restless. He wrapped the hero star's wounds. Su Xing prepared to return to the immortal's abode when at this time, a woman as exquisite as water walked daintily over. Is your distinguished self Su Xing? Long Nu. Su Xing was startled. What is the meaning of this? Was there someone disturbing the Crystal Dragon Palace? Long Nu's tone was full of strictness. Nothing at all. Do you have some business with me? Su Xing asked her. He did not remember what relation he had with Long Nu aside from that time she gave him a token. As expected, you are Su Xing. Long Nu looked round at Su Xing's beauties, her eyebrows raised. That astonishment was caught by Su Xing. It appeared his identity had been deduced, but he did not have anything to worry about. Precisely. The banquet token I gave you previously, fellow Su Xing must still remember it. And I must thank you for it. This banquet token will react with any member of the Long clan. If it is an important person, the Crystal Dragon Palace will know beforehand to receive them. Because young Lord Su Xing's was personally given by my daughter, only I can come receive you. I am too unpresentable, please forgive me. No need to mind. The Crystal Dragon Palace has prepared a special palace for young Lord Su to stay in, please follow me. Long Nu's posture was leisurely. Her silk fluttered, and her supple but swayed, swinging beautiful tassels. Her agility carried a bit of charm. Su Xing and the girls glanced inquisitively. They recalled that the Crystal Dragon Palace would not play any sort of tricks, so they followed behind her. The Crystal Dragon Palace's halls were numerous. This treasure banquet entertained the heroes of Liangshan continent's 3 territories. From the Vermilion Bird territories' 4 mountains to the Azure Dragon territories' powers and even the Black Turtle territories' devil cults, all of them were on a list of invitations. Furthermore, these invitations had many levels. For example, only valued guests could make the Crystal Dragon Palace auction off a high-quality item. Coral Palace. This was the palace Su Xing was staying in. Besides him, the palace had other cultivators, but they were all female cultivators. Su Xing felt this sensation was very strange. Regarding this, Long Nu's explanation was that Su Xing's identity is comparatively special. The special adjective referred to Su Xing being the Purple Thunder monster. To stay in the same place as the 10 great sects, there would eventually be some awkwardness. Female cultivators instead were generally gentle and kind. They would not draw any sort of trouble. You know my identity, why do you still help me? Su Xing asked. Long Nu's feet stopped. She turned her head back and thought for a moment. Long Nu is one of the Crystal Dragon Palace. Although I am a Star Master, I must uphold the Long clan's family teachings at all times and give up my prejudices and maintain neutrality. Long Nu has engraved this into her mind. So long as one is a guest of the Crystal Dragon Palace, I will consider you as a close friend. If only fellow Su could be Long Nu's friend for the time being. Su Xing nodded. This Long Nu's honesty and frankness actually made him somewhat surprised. She wanted to say something else but hesitated. Long Nu then said nothing else. The Coral Palace was constructed very beautifully. Coral was piled up and carps could be seen swimming outside the barrier in schools of multicolored fishes rolling about. A pond and moonlight could even be seen in the back flower garden. This could be said to be the work of the gods. At this time, a charming, mature woman walked directly through the corridor. Long Nu. Elder sister. Long Nu deferentially said. This is. Long Nu's elder sister looked at Su Xing with a bewildered expression. This is fellow Su Xing, a guest I have invited. This time, he will auction 1,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Long Nu said. Evil-suppressing gem bamboo? Oh. Long Nu's elder sister nodded. With evil-suppressing gem bamboo practically extinct these days, a 1,000-year type was not considered a first-rate rare ingredient, but it was considered top quality. To be able to receive such a client, the Crystal Dragon Palace would treat them as a valued guest. However, she was still a bit confused about Su Xing's entrance into the Coral Palace. Although the Coral Palace was not explicitly a female cultivator's palace, it was already commonly understood to be so after such a long time hosting mostly women. Seeing that Su Xing was a supervoid cultivator, Long Nu's elder sister did not dare show any expression. This fellow has brought multiple wives. They are not suited for other palaces. Long Nu thought, and she gently responded. So this is the case. The Coral Palace is mostly of female cultivators. We ask that Senior Su Xing not blame us, but if Senior Su Xing so wishes, we can prepare a palace for your own use. Long Nu's elder sister inquired. No need. Su Xing shook his head. Then good. A super void cultivator's interests were odd, and Long Nu's elder sister could not easily ask anything. Right, this senior Su Xing, the Crystal Dragon Palace is currently checking the inventory for this auction's materials. In the case of tomorrow, there will be the first crystal banquet. If senior is willing, you can turn over the evil-suppressing gem bamboo to your servant, draw up a contract with the Dragon Clan, attend this auction and reap the profits. Fine. Su Xing thought this was alright. His divine intent probed into his astral bag, and his expression suddenly became very embarrassed. Fellow Su Xing, what is the matter? Long Nu's elder sister's tone was a bit sour. Oh, Su Xing remembered that he had already sold all of his 1,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. This was embarrassing. Above the East Sea, a black chariot rolled out. A wild laugh resounded in the sky. The cultivators below were each scared witless, showing expressions of fear. Ha, 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 so this is the East Sea. Interesting, interesting. This place truly is this Hold Lord's ideal ground. This sea is truly too fine. If we were to encounter the purple thunder monster, he will certainly die without a burial site. Xiangfei, what say you? The man wearing black armor laughed aloud. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had rushed over from the Black Turtle territory. Upon seeing the legendary underwater city of the Crystal Dragon Palace, his heart was somewhat ecstatic. Originally, he had been a bit apprehensive about the treasure banquet. Now it appeared to be a very good opportunity for him. With River Dragon Li Xiangfei's ability to overturn the seas, he absolutely had a chance for victory. Li Xiangfei was a bit powerless. The woman with a noble brow said nothing. She merely swept her gaze over the East Sea. Young master, do not be careless. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming sternly reminded from the side. Ever since the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon entered the Devil Star Palace, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's self-confidence inflated. This made the two girls inwardly shake their heads. This Holy Lord still knows. With the Purple Thunder monster here, this Holy Lord is not his opponent. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's tone sunk. Fortunately, his mood deflated the moment the Purple Thunder monster was mentioned. However, the moment the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon recalled he was now the Star Master of the Black Turtle Territory's #1 Devil Star Palace, his heart was ecstatic. It was especially difficult for him to not swell with pride when he saw the great Saint Starkiller he formerly hated to the bone leave the stage. However, there is nothing to worry about. This Holy Lord will soon break through to Supervoid stage. Now that Devil Ancestor Dark Underworld has already promised that if this Holy Lord will put forth full power in the star duels, he will give this Holy Lord the highest, Devil Star writ, for this treasure banquet. This Holy Lord will definitely make that Purple Thunder monster know this Holy Lord's might this time. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon ground his teeth. Your servant hears that the Azure Dragon territory has the double sevens. Holy Lord, do not forget. N. The Purple Thunder monster has already cemented his infamy in both the Azure Dragon territory and the Black Turtle territory now. He has apparently also offended the Rock Demon King of the Vermilion Bird territory. He has incurred the wrath of 3 territories. This is truly the joke of the world. This Purple Thunder monster's death is not far off. Although he has that many star generals, in the 7 Stars Assembly, can he continue to defy the natural order with the alliance of the 3 territories' Star Masters? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon seemed to already see the scene of his second nemesis be destroyed to the satisfaction of everyone. Young Master must not forget that in the previous star duels, there was the matter of Wu Song and Lin Chong. Fan Ming admonished him about the past star duels that Wu Song and Lin Chong worked together to overturn the entire Liangshan continent's star masters, let alone that Purple Thunder monster of this generation was even more abnormal. He has so many star generals, their star weapon upgrades will necessarily be very challenging. This Holy Lord does not believe that he can still be like the legend of Wu Song who created a 9-star destined weapon. This was also a reason for Holy Lord of Draconic Demon scoffing. To maintain a star general's contract needed lots of star energy, 2 even more so. Although someone like him could receive substantial star energy from 2 contracts, upholding those contracts was considerably strenuous. Otherwise, he would have already broke through to supervoid stage. For someone like the Purple Thunder monster who had contracted more than 10, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon believed that would not be able to hop around for much longer. By the time the Purple Thunder monster dies, there will be no one who can oppose this Holy Lord in these star duels. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon laughed. Where did this boisterous child come from? To be so arrogant, truly you overestimate your abilities. An ice-cold voice suddenly came from the sky. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon looked. What appeared before him was a grave and stern man dressed in a black robe. His elegance made the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon somewhat envious. Seeing that his cultivation had reached supercluster peak, with green-robed beautiful girl by his side, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon saw his identity with just a glance. Young master, that is the robe of the lifeless hall. Li Xiangfei wrinkled her brow. So you are the Black Turtle Territory's frog in the well. Yan Wudao was expressionless. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's complexion changed. He disdainfully said, the Azure Dragon Territory Star Master still does not even realize that his death is at hand. The tiny bit player dares to be presumptuous. You are asking to be hit. Featherless Arrow Zhang Biluo opened her hands. The 5-star asking directions to the underworld stones flew around her fingers, flickering with cold killing intent. She flicked her hand, and the asking directions to the underworld stones shot out. Those stones were extremely fast. They flashed in the air, dazzling the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's eyes. Bang! Fan Ming's claws blocked. The thud of the asking directions to the underworld stones brushed past Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's cheeks, drawing a line of blood. A lesson well taught. Yan Wudao smiled. Bastard! Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was furious. Xiangfei, Minger, kill this man, make him realize the power of my Devil Star Palace. The 9 phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon swords manifested black clouds. Ghostly wailing on the seas raised a wretched cold wind. The other cultivators on the ocean immediately fled, the color draining from their faces. From afar, it seemed that the star duel between 2 great star masters bode ill for them. The lifeless hall could not easily interfere with a star duel and spectated from the side. Star duel, in your company. How could Yan Wudao concede defeat? 99 coping with undergoing rebirth swords similarly whistled out. Their sword tips displayed black lights that rolled onwards to battle against Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's 9 phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon swords. Longevity Star River Dragon Li Xiangfei and Correct Star Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming was inwardly indignant that they had to take action in the Azure Dragon territory when they had just come for the treasure banquet. At this moment, they had no choice but to enter battle. Li Xiangfei brought out the White Knight Dragon carving lance to roll the seas. The ocean water rolled, and a sea dragon rocketed into the sky and pounced directly on Zhang Biluo. Watch this. Fan Ming grimly attacked. A demonic chi whistled, rolling over. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon indeed had an arrogant advantage. 2 great star generals facing 1 star master was an advantage, let alone that his cultivation was not lower than Yan Wudao's. His cultivated demon swords were also superb. Add on that he had the support of the Devil Star Palace behind him, his self-confidence was absolute. But he had still underestimated Yan Wudao. In the birth treasure outlined so long ago, Yan Wudao had once slain demon beasts by himself to train his martial arts. Ever since the star duels began, Yan Wudao had never been complacent. Because he knew his own star general was the king of hidden weapons, as the star master, he necessarily had to receive talent too and martial force to make up for her weaknesses. Yan Wudao was aware that against a sword cultivator of a similar level, he had a chance, but against a star general, he still had none. The next moment, Yan Wudao's escape technique activated. He raised the 6 paths plate to first trap Li Xiangfei, and then his silhouette flashed away. Instantly, an explosion burst in the air. Yan Wudao already vanished without a trace, launching a sneak attack. Fan Ming's brows rose, and she sneered. Fan Ming did not hesitate to turn around and swing her claws. Demon King of Chaos clearly knew that regardless of how fast he was, his ultimate goal was only to injure, and to injure, he definitely would come to her side. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming's judgment was indeed extraordinary. From nearly the first moment Yen Wudao took action, the girl had seen through Yen Wudao's plan. A whip-like shadow appeared from her claws instantly, covering all of the space behind her. A powerful shadow that seemed to break space fiercely tore at the surface, severing her defense. Immediately, the surroundings between the two filled with black clouds, pervasive dust. In the pervasive dust and smoke, Yen Wudao had already broke through her defensive perimeter. At the same time, Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming's attack also launched. The double claws of glittering black shadows were like the talons of a death god, full of a murderous aura. Without any misgivings about the attacking tip behind him, Yen Wudao put strength to his legs. Suddenly, the space he tread on once again shattered. Borrowing the force of this, he suddenly leapt high into the air, drawing a beautiful arc immediately afterwards. He swung his sword directly at Fan Ming's neck. His movements were crisp and clean, swift as lightning. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming lifted her head, using one claw to act as an obstruction. A metallic clang. Go! Yen Wudao chanted. The 99 coping with undergoing rebirth swords launched. Powerful sword chi flocked out. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming's pace could not help but step backwards. Just as she retreated, her footsteps turned, and she once again vanished into a black shadow. Yen Wudao drew a sharp breath. The girl's disappearance did not cause Yen Wudao alarm at all. Yen Wudao's figure moved. The 6 paths plate raised a black light, and at this moment, Yen Wudao's figure crouched low, once again suddenly pulling long and thin. The air filled with a sharp whistle. Yen Wudao instantly reached frightening speeds, suddenly raising a storm on the seas. As the dust dispersed, Yen Wudao's figure suddenly pierced through. He suddenly found where Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming was hiding and attacked. A hand wearing a black glove already suddenly probed out, pushing towards the figure in front. There was another terrifying clash. If it could be said that the crack between the two was a confrontation of pure speed, then this one was a merciless battle. Power then became the most important, enough to settle the crux of life and death. This was a matter that could not be judged with by relying on experience, because beforehand, Yen Wudao had practically never met with a chance to do battle against a star general. Did you think you had contracted Lin Chong? Fan Ming sneered and used her yellow technique. Your servant has but contracted featherless arrow. Yen Wudao's 6 paths plate blocked, and he spat blood. Fan Ming froze. Suddenly, there was a shrill whistle. 8 crystalline green stones appeared in the surroundings, fluctuating like an odd array. Zhang Biluo was ready. She wrinkled her adorable nose. If you hurt Wudao, die. Dark rank hidden weapon. Hell has no road. Fan Ming screamed. She was immediately heavily injured. Minger. When the Holy Lord of Draconic Demons saw that Fan Ming had been injured by Zhang Qing's hidden weapons, his heart was furious. The 9 phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon's sword became demonic shadows that pounced down with howls, obstructing Yen Wudao's flying swords. Featherless arrow Zhang Qing pursed her lips. She raised her white hand, and the hidden weapons then whooshed over. Zhang Qing recognized herself as the king of concealed weapons. Among all of Maiden Mountain sisters, she alone was the champion, and even the 5 tigers generals needed to be vigilant. Against Demon King of Chaos, Zhang Biluo was completely unafraid. Demon King of Chaos Fan Rui continuously suffered through several underworld stones, and her injuries became even more severe. Fan Ming's eyes were a through red, and a baleful aura erupted from her black armor. Do not look down on your servant, Zhang Qing. Fan Ming roared. She opened her arms, and her star beast, demonic heavenly bat, was a giant black-winged monster bird that appeared similar to a bat. This beast opened its long, blade-like wings and attached itself to Demon King of Chaos back. The demonic heavenly bat let out a shrill screech, releasing a black cloud. Then, wisps of black qi gathered on the 5 chief demons' infernal devil claws. The thin claw tips appeared, and the black qi became a demon. Myriad wisps of cold smoke and thousands of wisps of black qi flew about behind Fan Ming, covering 100 li of the expansive East Sea in a dark cloud. Zhang Biluo paused and she hastily called forth the asking directions to the underworld stones. A devilish sneer. Fan Ming's hands clapped together. That cloud of smoke and black qi instantly launched as 10,000 arrows covering the worlds as it attacked Zhang Biluo. The East Sea's skies instantly plunged into absolute darkness. The dense black qi thoroughly sealed Zhang Qing's escape routes. This was the earth-rank technique that Fan Ming comprehended amidst her dire straits. Soul Flying Sword Dispersal. 2. The black smoke was a sword midway in a transformation into a demon. It was like something that flew out of hell, and each strand of black qi brimmed with consciousness as they roared towards Zhang Biluo. How could Zhang Qing evade this? Careful. Yan Xudao flipped open a talisman. Immediately, the 99 coping with undergoing rebirth swords drew a protective sword array. 88 of the flying swords gathered in a circle, blocking the black qi. The confinement formed a powerful sword array. A dark bridge appeared, and Zhang Bailu did not hesitate to move backwards, sitting upon the green bird. There was the sound of the sky seemingly be ripped apart by a giant hand, startling all the cultivators in 100 li into sheer fright. The soul-flying sword dispersal's countless explosions broke with sky-devastating tidal waves. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was delighted. He had never thought that Ming'er would comprehend her earth rank at this time. Just as he was about to shout his joy, thinking that killing Yan Wudao would be a cinch. How could he have expected that when the black smoke faded, that Yan Wudao's hand held the 6 paths plate, unexpectedly withstanding the dark sword array with its protection? Furthermore, they had lost track of Zhang Biluo. Not good. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's heart was astonished. He heard Li Xiangfei yell, "Holy Lord, be careful." The river dragon swapped to the white knight dragon carving sword, and a white dragon blocked a hidden weapon. In the air, a green shadow hovered. Zhang Biluo had already reappeared. Featherless Arrow snorted. She spread her fingers, the asking directions to the underworld stones flowing. Fan Ming lowered her head to look at the wound that a hidden weapon had punched through her chest. She was powerless to reverse the situation and return to the star nest. To have surprisingly injured Wudao, watch this hidden weapon. Zhang Biluo was enraged. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon did not expect Featherless Arrow to be so powerful. His 2-star generals had been suppressed into somewhat sorry figures. He was vexed, and he currently hesitated. Just at this moment, a loud shout came from the horizon. Stop! 4 figures flew over in succession. They were the 4 great law protectors of the Devil Star Palace. Wudao, stop for now. Ancestor Longevity said. Only then did Zhang Biluo begrudgingly stow her hidden weapons. Elder Dried Bone, True Lord Heavenly Commandment, Corpse Devil Ruthlessness, this is, let alone that Ancestor Longevity was only Supercluster Peak, he was very experienced. In succession, he called out the names of the Devil Star Palace's 4 great law protectors. Elder Dried Bone was an extremely aged old man, True Lord Heavenly Commandment was a refined and elegant youth, and Corpse Devil Ruthlessness was a cold, sinister man. However, Ancestor Longevity was nevertheless startled to see the last law protector. Ancestor Longevity was already aware of Ming Dai's death, but the Supervoid early-stage law protector in front of him wore a black robe over their whole body. There was practically no breath, as if this was a dead person. He is this palace's newest law protector, Fiend Star. 3. Elder Dried Bone narrowed his eyes as he smirked. That Fiend Star still had no presence at all. The Devil Star Palace truly is the Black Turtle Territory's #1 great sect, to have a succession of Supervoid cultivators. Ancestor Longevity was inwardly shaking in fear. Ancestor Longevity, you truly are long-lived. We hear that those in the Azure Dragon territory's encirclement of the Purple Thunder monster have all died, yet you still escaped. Elder Dried Bone mocked as he stroked his thin mustache. Ancestor Longevity's face was thicker than a fortress wall, otherwise how could he have lived this long? Heaven has shown great care for this ancestor, nothing more. Is that so? Then this treasure banquet is yours? Elder Dried Bone coldly sneered, that path of life and death has not come. This old man had even wanted to take this chance to seek a fight from him. Ancestral Master Life and Death will arrive afterwards. At that time, Elder Dried Bone naturally can find a duel with him then, but be careful later on. Ancestor Longevity retorted. Both sides were a powder keg ready to explode. Ancestral Master. Yen Wudao wrinkled his brow. Wudao, this treasure banquet is not a star duel. Leave things at this. Elder Dried Bone, what say you? Fine, the lifeless hull truly has an outstanding spine. 5-star featherless arrow, even this old man would have to run away. Ha, ha. Elder Dried Bone declined to comment, his words softened. Although Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was indignant that Jiang Qing killed Ming'er, he knew that this place was the domain of the Azure Dragon territory. At any time, the Azure Dragon territory's Star Master could take action, and besides, that 5-star featherless arrow was a thorny existence. Without breaking through to Supervoid stage, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon did not have the confidence. Besides, Fan Ming's unintended comprehension of her Earth rank technique actually was not considered a total loss. His heart cleared, and his face still had a sneer, maintaining a bit of poise. Li Xiangfei retracted her star weapon with an ice-cold expression. Zhang Biluo pursed her lips. Featherless Arrow had not a single misgiving about these sect cultivators, but Yen Wudao was already without the heart for battle. She could only stand down. Both sides parted on bad terms, making those who had waited expectantly for the spectacular scene of two top-notch star masters from great sects greatly disappointed. Su Xing was currently a bit embarrassed. He had forgotten his agreement about the 1,000-year gem bamboo for the Dragon Clan, and all of them had been exchanged for Hunyangzi's 5-star materials. Now, there was not even the slightest residue. Ha, ha, fellow, you are not about to tell your servant that you do not have your things? This will make things somewhat difficult for the Crystal Dragon Palace. Long Nu's elder sister put on a fake smile. Although their counterpart was a Supervoid cultivator, this was the Crystal Dragon Palace's domain. If there actually was someone who bluffed the Crystal Dragon Palace, then they would pay a heavy price. Your servant was not careful and sold the 1,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Su Xing confessed. The smile of Long Nu's elder sister froze. Is fellow jesting? This 1,000-year your servant does not have, but your servant still has a chunk of 10,000 year. Your servant wonders if this would suffice? Long Nu's elder sister was shaken. The whole body of the apathetic Long Nu quivered. 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo. Long Nu's elder sister nearly screamed. She looked at Su Xing's nonchalant expression as he pulled out that bamboo, and she nearly went mad. This was but the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo that was extinct in Liangshan continent. Even the Crystal Dragon Palace had never auctioned this before in several centuries. Are you truly willing to bring out the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo? The tone of Long Nu's elder sister shook, not daring to believe in such a good thing. This little stock of evil-suppressing gem bamboo was of no use to Su Xing. The evil-suppressing clear light of the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo could restrain the devil cultivation of the Black Turtle territory, and it was perfect to make the two sides of the Azure Dragon territory and the Black Turtle territory completely incompatible, with nothing to oppose it. The attitude of Long Nu's elder sister immediately became respectful, careful, for fellow Su Xing to believe in the Crystal Dragon Palace truly makes this palace overwhelmed by your favor. We wonder what request fellow may have for this auction. Su Xing indicated the items he wanted on the jade strip. As for how much he could exchange for, there was no need for him to mind. Su Xing still had the life-extending flat peach. Considering that this item was much more maddening than the evil-suppressing gem bamboo, he did not take it out for the time being. He prepared to use it in the treasure banquet as a bargaining chip. This is Fellow's palace. In front of a luxurious pavilion, Long Nu stopped. Many thanks. Su Xing cupped his fist. This is something I ought to do. If there is anything you need, feel free to call. You entrusted to this palace the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, so you are this palace's valued guest. Long Nu believed that this was only right. Right, fellow Su Xing, there was something else. I thought that I ought to warn you. Long Nu hesitated for a moment and finally spoke. Everyone looked at her. This 777 rumor has no relation with this palace. If someone thought to use the Crystal Dragon Palace to lure you into a trap, then please be clear about this. Long Nu said earnestly. Su Xing's party showed astonished expressions. What Long Nu said was very tactful, but the meaning within clearly said the 777 was a trap. Why would you tell us this? Is your distinguished self not also a Star Master? Could it be that this is not a new trap? Wu Xinjie smiled, somewhat unable to see through the girl before her. A ray of light flashed, and Huang Mengrui emerged from the star nest. Long Nu has warned you out of the goodness of her heart. What are these words of yours, guardian of 3 mountains? Huang Xian flapped her lips. Since her identity was already known, Huang Mengrui had no need to hide. Mengrui. Long Nu stopped her grumbling. She calmly gazed at Su Xing. Long Nu merely cannot bear to see my mother's conduct. As a child of Long clan, even in death, we absolutely will not go against the creed of our family. I believe you. Su Xing was honest. Many thanks for your warning, but you can rest easy. As for the 777s, I will seriously consider it. Long Nu knew that it would be very difficult to make Su Xing temporarily dispel his hesitations by saying this, and he might even think she was deliberately making Su Xing renounce the 777s, to allow the 777s to fall into someone else's hands. However, Long Nu did not care at all what Su Xing was thinking. Anyways, she had warned him already about what she should have, and this could be considered a bit of compensation for her mother's conduct and actions. Right, the Most High Path's Northern Darkness has borrowed 12 connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls from Mother in preparations to capture you. You must be careful. Long Nu turned her head back for one final warning. Only then did she daintily excuse herself. The connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls? The Crystal Dragon Palace has flaunted itself as neutral. It appears that was no more than talk. Hua Wanyue showed slight disdain. Northern Darkness has Fish and Long Wanxin have had a friendship, and to lend these connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls, it can be seen that the Most High Path is indeed at the end of the road. This actually is relieving. Wu Xinjie muttered, not at all surprised that Northern Darkness has Fish had borrowed the connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls. What made the Knowledge Star much more confused was Long Nu's behavior just now. It truly was justice that went against a Star Master's common sense. If young Lord wants to end the star duels and resist Maiden Mountain, perhaps this 7th princess can be of aid. However, Xinjie wonders just whether she is sincere or false. Wu Xinjie felt vexed for the first time at the person's candidness. Legend said that the Crystal Dragon Palace's Long clan would have a leisureless pearl dragon heart. If one could be born with this heart's Long clan blood and meridians, then they inevitably would be a stunning and unhindered genius character. It could not be her, could it? The 4-word phrase, night cool as water, could not be more apt to describe night in the Crystal Dragon Palace. Sitting on the courtyard walkway, gazing at the heavens, the sky was a wave of glimmering refraction. The Crystal Dragon Palace's depth was 10,000 li. There was inherently no white light, but because the Crystal Dragon Palace's halls were all constructed from crystals, they could absorb the quintessence of the moon, becoming even more radiant than any other place in Liangshan continent during the night. The Crystal Dragon Palace was immersed in a light blue glow. The surroundings fluctuated with a multitude of auroras, and the quintessence of the moon was at the pinnacle of abundance. Countless cultivators of powerful ability and brilliant powers would seize this chance to find suitable ground to cultivate. Even if they did not use it to cultivate, this moon quintessence was very effective for a female cultivator to maintain a youthful appearance. This was one of the Crystal Dragon Palace's most attractive places. The first day of the treasure banquet ended, and Su Xing could be considered to have tasted this Dragon Palace's splendor. After checking into his palace, he struck up a conversation with some girls. Then, when the night turned even deeper, the other beauties gradually began to return. Su Xing greeted each of his wives, and everyone sat in the hall chatting about the things they saw today. A while after, the late one was Thief Star Flea on a drum Yuan. Looks like Yuan is off playing around again. I'll go look for her. Su Xing was impatient. He prepared to use their star crest to sense her. Just at this moment, Yuan's voice sounded out from outside the door. This young lady has returned. A beautiful figure flashed in. Yuan's face brimmed with a brilliant smile. Clearly, this treasure banquet gave the thief star a plentiful harvest. Yuan, what were you doing? Wu Xinjie smiled. Why so late? The treasure banquet is so full of people. This young lady just randomly browsed about and snatched up so many astral bags. Yuan giggled. With a flourish of her hand, the table overflowed with multicolored astral bags numbering in the dozens. All of the girls stared dumbstruck. Only then did Su Xing recall that the girl in front of him was none other than the best thief under heaven. Now that she had free time, how could she stay idle? Su Xing had wanted to say something, but he swallowed his words back down. Su Xing, you won't be mad, right? Yuan cautiously said. She was fully aware of Su Xing's personality, and it was different from any star master or even any cultivators before. The star masters of the past that could contract the thief star were eager to allow Flea on a drum to rob the entire world, the more the better. In the past, there was this kind of star master that relied on the thief star's superb thievery skills to arrive at the 7 stars assembly in the end. In actuality, with Su Xing's current situation, to have one person raise more than 10 star generals was an impossible mission. Yuan felt that as the best thief under heaven, she ought to do something. Yuan, what sort of people did you take action against? Su Xing asked. Yuan patted her chest and proudly said, this young lady is but very professional. They were all some repulsive faces, cultivators of corrupt character. Especially the 10 great sects. The punishment fits their crime. Su Xing scratched his head. The 10 great sects he actually had no opinion on. However, try to not do this sort of thing too much, there's no meaning. Wu Xinjie agreed, those little cultivators do not have anything valuable. To make the thief star rob them, your predecessors will cry. Yuan stuck out her tongue and said that she knew. Su Xing did not want to brush away Yuan's good intentions either. He thereupon opened the astral bags, and dazzling items flew out from inside them, la. A large pile of items poured out. Knives, tridents, swords, halberds, bows, arrows, maces, mirrors, whisks, gems and pearls, jade strips and books, banners and pennants, even a pile of breathtaking rare talismans and medicines. There was the faint fluctuation of an auspicious sign. With a glance, these were all exceptional goods. Cultivators that could come to the treasure banquet naturally came prepared. All of the things they brought were much better than normal. However, as far as the already supervoid stage Su Xing was concerned, these things were not worth looking at. Actually, several ghost soul pearls made Su Xing too intrigued. He currently had 3 ghost soul pearls. With 9 ghost soul pearls, he could refine a 9 infants level nether ability. Su Xing currently was worried about this. Using the ghost soul pearls to cultivate and then using other things afterwards, perhaps he could take up that ghost's god's bane. Regarding that ghost's god's bane, Su Xing always could not forget about it, but the accumulated yin energy was too heavy, and Su Xing was unable to endure. Ah! The reclusive solitary star Tang Lianxin suddenly shouted. What's the matter? Lianxin? Su Xing asked with concern. Elder brother, Tang Lianxin pointed to one item on the table, her tone slightly shaking. Su Xing had never seen Tang Lianxin like this. His expression changed, and he looked at what she indicated. Under some talismans was a glaze-like multicolored shard. It was somewhat pretty. He seemed to have seen this shard somewhere before. Su Xing thought carefully and recalled that when he was originally at the spider cave, he had found one piece from a cultivator. Su Xing took it out and compared. The style and luster were practically the same. The colored glass twinkled with stars, appearing very beautiful in the night. Elder brother also has another shard? Tang Lianxin said in shock. What is it? Su Xing curiously asked. When he uttered these words, all of wives stared oddly at him. Did I say something wrong? Su Xing wiped his sweat. Hua Wanyue pursed her lips. She wanted to laugh. I truly do not dare believe that the star master who contracted the majestic star is surprisingly unable to recognize even a star shard. Star shard? 2. This new noun made Su Xing a bit confused. Wanyue, young lord is not like other star masters. Wu Xinjie helped him out. She was aware that when Su Xing originally contracted Lin Yingmei, he did not even know about the thing called the star duels. Star shards are used to upgrade star weapons. Tang Lianxin explained. This can be used to upgrade them. This was the first time Su Xing had heard of this. Tang Lianxin nodded. Star shards were very famous in Liangshan continent. As everyone knew, the number of stars on the star weapon of Maiden Mountain's 108 star maidens was extremely important, even enough to settle the course of a star duel. The advancement of a star weapon naturally was the crux of any one-star master's chances for victory in a star duel. And to upgrade a star weapon, other than the destined star weapon itself and some requisite spirit sands and spirit stones, there was also two other ways. One was the 3 heavenly books of the 4th phase. The other was the star shard. Using a star shard to upgrade a star weapon was very simple. One star shard could upgrade by 1 star, 2 by 2 stars, and each star level's fragment would multiply. For example, to ascend to 10 star only required 20 star shards to be enough. Of course, the simplicity of star weapon upgrade with star shards had its own shortcoming, and this was effective time. Not only was a star shard upgraded star weapon even more taxing on a star general's star energy, its manifestation time was very short. However, legend said that a star shard had a certain probability of dropping after a star general's starfall. These shards would scatter over Liangshan continent, enough to count on fingers, so they were very rare. 3. Star shards were completely worthless to cultivators, but they were priceless to star masters and star generals. The treasure banquet was called the last banquet for star masters in the star duels. Naturally, there would be cultivators fortunate enough to have obtained a star shard who came to strike it rich. Su Xing counted. In addition to his own star shard, he happened to possess 7 shards. This could allow Wu Xiao or the other girls temporarily raise their star weapon to level 5. He was still off by 5 to be able to allow Lin Yingmei's star weapon to reach 6 star. If we possess a 7 star, before the trial of the 7th overlord Husanyang, this will be of enormous help to dear husband. Bright star Hunyangzi was moved. Before the 7th generation star duels, the highest recorded star weapon was 6 star. If Lin Yingmei reaches 7 star in addition to having them, they completely had no need to fear the overlord. So that is why. Wu Xinjie chuckled. So that is why she should go and steal some more. Su Xing wrinkled his brow, hesitant. This was too contrary to his own values, but he was very clear that being stubborn now would only bring trouble. A strand of hair lay across Hua Wenyue's lips. She seemed to smile, very fond and appreciative of Su Xing's awkward expression. However, what made the hero star disappointed was that Su Xing was not embarrassed for too long. He immediately made a decision, since these star shards are born from starfalls, isn't using them for an exchange somewhat dirty. Ha, how about this then? Xinjie, you and Yuan ask around if you have time. If there are star shards, take them. If there aren't, return the astral bag to the owner, and then it won't count as stealing. Ha, ha. Hua Wanyue was speechless. This man was quite shameless, to unexpectedly be able to find this kind of proper and righteous excuse. She was unable to retort. Su Xing, you are so sly, Wu, so smart. Sure Yuan happily hugged Su Xing, dancing and gesticulating in joy. To be able to be useful, the girl's heart brimmed with happiness. Qingci and Qiongyu walked through the blue jade corridors of their residence palace. The former currently was discussing the purpose of this trip with jade-armed craftsman Jin Deijian, and killer star Li Longkue was still expressionless, her hidden baleful aura following behind, her footsteps very soft. Qiongyu, what are the chances this time? Qingci gently asked. Relax, elder sister, Qiongyu today shall go to the Heaven East district. There are more precious stones than you can imagine, however, every one of those cultivators are straw bags, unable to refine jade and stones. They cannot see the worth of those gems. Qiongyu has certainty she can buy some. Jin Qiongyu sneered, Lu Fang and Guo Shuai are at the Earth South district. They should be able to find an abundance of star weapon material. This is good. Qingci slightly nodded her head. This treasure banquet was a major event. Everything needed to be arranged appropriately. For the sake of being able to scale Maiden Mountain in the future, to end the star duels, they could not be careless. However, elder sister, refining those spirit jade will perhaps consume much of elder sister's capital. Although the 9 Dragons place has done all it can to fully support you, this is still a cup of water on a burning cart of firewood. Qiongyu is fully aware that many high-grade star weapon materials have already been turned over to the Crystal Dragon Palace to auction. Over the next few days, many star shards will be sold at auction. Jin Qiongyu wrinkled her brow. By the jade-armed craftsman's calculations, at least 1 trillion liang would be consumed to possibly be able to upgrade the star weapons of the 2 great martial generals Fiery Thunderbolt Qin Mingyue and 9 tattooed dragons Shi Jingluan to 6 star. The other sisters would be at least 5 star. If this could not be done, they did not have good odds against the Purple Thunder monster. Noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Jin is known as Liangshan's richest. Her capital numbers in the tens of millions. Although she cannot participate in the star duels, regarding the other star masters, she can only use the help the needy for justice method, but elder sister's status is different. Perhaps we can find Chai Jin for a negotiation. In Qionyu's perspective, so long as elder sister shows clear intentions, Chai Jin will definitely join elder sister's uprising. With the noble star's aid, we will be like tigers that grew wings. Then, the Purple Thunder monsters Lin Chong and Wu Song will certainly regret things. Jin Qionyu's eyes flashed with a stern glare. Qingci has a plan. Qingci tenderly asked. Qiongyu, you seem to be very biased against Su Xing. Of course, he is but our great enemy. In the future star duels, we will inevitably fight each other to the death. Jin Qiongyu was grim. But if his objective is the same as ours? Qingci continued to ask. Jade-armed craftsman sneered, full of disdain. In her eyes, all star masters exploited them. To think of obtaining the wish, only to treat it as a tool, trust? That was an extremely ridiculous idea. Elder sister, you must not disappoint Qiongyu. Jin Qiongyu sternly said. Qingci smiled and gently nodded. It was unclear if this was her answer or something else. Walking several steps, the song of a melodious flute suddenly drifted over through the night. Qingci and the others stopped, showing astonishment. The sound of a flute reverberated through the coral palace, drawn out and winding, occasionally warm as a light breeze, occasionally as smooth as flowing water. The fishes were intoxicated from listening, practically forgetting to swim in the coral palace's surroundings. Even the song of the earth spirits could not compare. The melodious and distant tune made Qingci feel that she enchanted, so much so that she forgot she was still speaking with Jin Qiongyu. Jin Qiongyu was briefly surprised. She had never seen Qingci so cultured and poetic. She herself merely felt this was pleasant to listen to, yet she would never investigate why it sounded so good. She said something else and then left. Compared to the song, the sounds of Jade upgrading the star weapons of her sisters was far more pleasant to listen to for the skillful star Jade armed craftsman. To be able to play out such a heavenly tune, it should be Iron Flute deity Ma Lin. Longkue, let us go pay her a visit. Qingci showed a bit of curiosity. Although she knew many cultivators resided in the Coral Palace and that there were even star generals who could be future enemies, this tune had a sort of unprecedented airiness that made Qingci for the first time boldly think of personally listening. The crystal willow trees were like snow. On one tree, a man currently played a flute. That flute was sparkling and translucent. The tune that flew out of the fluttering hole blew up a gentle wind, twisting and coiling about beside the man. A girl bursting with a heroic air was below the tree, her black hair fluttering as she listened to the song, captivated. The player was naturally Su Xing, and the flute in his hand was the destined star weapon Phoenix Cry wind concentrating flute of Iron Flute deity Ma Lin. The jade flute glittered with a luster, and one faint star glimmered like a fairy. The sequence of events leading to this was somewhat long, but after Su Xing finished a night of cultivation, he was compelled by the Dragon Palace's quiet atmosphere to reminisce. Afterwards, he and Lin Yingmei reminisced in the courtyard, chatting about some trifles of the star duels as he rested. Then, Lin Yingmei mentioned Iron Flute deity Ma Lin. This was the first star general that made the majestic star regret killing her. Su Xing knew that the previous majestic star's opponents were often top-notch martial generals. Average sisters were like Jade Qil and Lu Xiao, no need at all to deliver a killing blow. However, after signing a contract, everything would naturally change. Su Xing asked Lin Yingmei whether or not she felt wronged. The answer was a shake of her head. Su Xing smiled. Thereupon, he thought of using Iron Flute deity Ma Xiaoxiao's Phoenix Cry wind concentrating flute to play a tune. Su Xing originally was pretty good at the flute, and this destined star weapon had undergone enchantment. The melody he blew was more cacophonic. That melody's cadence slowly wound around, as if it could make someone place themselves into ancient times. There was emotion, heroism, mystery, intimacy. One song was filled with legend, sublimating that 1,000 years of star duels into its melody, sounding lost. Even Lin Yingmei was engrossed, unable to extricate herself. Suddenly, Lin Yingmei's eyes opened, recovering their clarity. The majestic star's right hand summoned and grabbed her spear as she coldly glared at a corner of the courtyard. A graceful woman who seemed to have come from a painting walked out. Her beauty was indescribable. Since I am obliged by your favor and care, it is good that you are my master. For the cinnabar heaven 10,000 li away, what harm is there in seeking it together? Forever abandoned, bright partner. To avoid others seeing me, move towards the cloudy evening rain. Little sister Ma Lin's melody is even more moving than the legends say. In your song, your servant heard little sister's laments. Are you helpless? Qingci lifted her head to gaze at the tree. All of her attention was already drawn in by the figure playing the flute. The player did not answer. Qingci continued to speak. Does little sister Ma Lin have some other way of thinking about the star duels? Wind rose. The crystal tree's snow flowers perked, falling down in a sprinkle. Gracefully walking over, a figure appeared from the tree's shadow, and Qingci was stunned. The flute player was not a woman. A man. A man she was familiar with. Qingci's heart pounded, and her slight smile faded. Qingci, you flatter me. Su Xing slightly smiled, hopping down from the tree. Young Lord Su Xing, why is it you? Qingci stared at the jade flute in Su Xing's hand. Her smile was very forced. The Phoenix Cry wind concentrating flute, it seems little sister Ma Lin has already met her end by young lord's hand? Su Xing heard Qingci's disappointment in her voice. He vaguely understood, and he responded without changing his expression, my wife and Ma Xiaoxiao were somewhat at an impasse. Today, I was somewhat in the mood to reminisce, and I was unable to help but play a tune on the Phoenix Cry wind concentrating flute. If I have disturbed Qingci, then I beg your pardon. Your servant truly did not expect that Lord Su's melody would surprisingly be played so pleasantly for the ears. Your servant was even a bit enraptured. Qingci's voice was soft. Your servant wonders what this song of Lord Su's is named. I haven't thought of a name yet. Qingci, the poem you recited just now was named Wild Immortal Pull. 2. Why not name it Wild Immortal Pull then? Su Xing pondered. Wild Immortal Pull. Qingci muttered. Does Qingci also live in the Coral Palace? We truly are bound by fate, it just so happens that I have something that I wanted to consult with you, Su Xing said. The Liangshan to the side could not stand watching any longer. She explosively shouted, her baleful aura swelling, the 4-star bereaved immortal lofty slaughter grasped in her hand. She swung it in a circle before pouncing towards Su Xing, yelling, "Do not deceive elder sister." The killer star attacked without so much as another word, and the axe tore a wave of murderous intent that slashed at Su Xing's chest. "Liangshan, you may not." Qingci shouted. Regarding the berserk killer star, Su Xing already had a defense. He used the light smoke dance steps body technique, leaning his body to dodge this swing. Liangshan's expression was violent and menacing, her second horizontal swing aimed at his torso. Her method could be even said to be merciless. If it was before, Su Xing inevitably would cut a sorry figure being occupied with facing this killer star martial general's attack, but the recent training he received was not fake, let alone that he had already experienced battle with true Phoenix Realm overlords. Su Xing was neither rushed nor slow, and he evaded again. Liangshan's legs straddled, and her body bolted forward, her speed extremely quick. A frightening baleful aura pounced directly at his face. If it was any other supervoid cultivator, just being taken by the killer star's momentum at close range was enough to shake them. Liangshan lifted the bereaved immortal lofty slaughter and swung left and right. Su Xing flipped into the air, stepping on the axe head in passing, like a dragonfly skimming the water. Su Xing teased her, "Liangshan, your elder sister wants you to stop, will you still fight?" "Hey!" Liangshan's eyes were thoroughly red. The bereaved immortal lofty slaughter manifested countless axe shadows, and the billowing murderous aura was even more terrible. Dark rank axe technique, wild dance of demons and gods. Su Xing's figure swiftly retreated. He was not arrogant enough to personally experience a heavenly star's dark technique. Liangshan gave chase. "Liangshan, do not be savage." Lin Yingmei coldly grinned, suddenly revolting. The Arctic Star Serpent Spear's 5 stars flowed. Lin Yingmei blocked in front of Su Xing, and seeing that spear sweep left and right to suppress Liangshan, the Pantherhead's ice-cold spearmanship howled like a blizzard. The spear light was sudden. Liangshan completely did not see it, and she hefted the bereaved immortal lofty slaughter to defend. The 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear's might was ample. Each strike forced the killer star back a step. Her spearmanship bolted like a thunderclap, its momentum like a gale. How could Liangshan be Lin Yingmei's opponent, but after several dozen exchanges, killer star Black Whirlwind Liangshan was unable to oppose her. With a bang, the dense spear tip already pressed against Liangshan's soft throat. So long as Lin Yingmei was willing, she could make the killer star starfall at any time she wished. "If you dare take another step forward, your servant shall kill you," Lin Yingmei coldly said. Liangshan was furious. She felt this was a complete loss. How could she accept blackmail, Liangshan? Qingci yelled. Only then did this stop the killer star. Liangshan angrily withdrew to behind Qingci, but she stared mercilessly at Su Xing, 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear. Little sister Yingmei is truly formidable. Qingci's eyebrows rose. Her birth treasure outline manifested. Extreme Realm 5th stage. Her eyes flashed with astonishment. Su Xing was somewhat pensive when he saw that birth treasure outline. Qingci apologizes for Liangshan. "We have disturbed Lord Su's elegant mood." Qingci retracted the book, bowing her body in apology. Little sister Longkuei's temperament is just a bit impulsive, however, she means well for you, Qingci. Su Xing looked at Li Longkuei and smiled. Qingci pursed her vermilion lips. She gracefully prepared to leave. Qingci shall excuse herself for now. Wait a moment, Su Xing suddenly called. Seeing Li Longkuei's whole body in a vigilant posture stretched taut, he thought to himself that this was amusing. Does Lord Su have some other matters? Qingci said softly. Did Qingci really like Big Brother's flute just now? Qingci did not expect that Su Xing would ask this. She slowly nodded, her heart calm. She had thought that was played by Ma Lin. The flute contained every sort of emotion about the star duels, Qingci could clearly hear that. She had originally thought that Iron Flute deity loathed the star duels, yet she did not expect it was in Su Xing's hands. Could it be he truly planned to end the star duels? Since this wild immortal poll has received the name of Little Sister Qingci's poem, this is considered our performance, but it isn't complete yet. It's a bit of a pity. Why not let's work together to finish it? Su Xing's eyes turned, somewhat pensive. This, Qingci was taken aback. Is little sister Qingci unwilling to do me this honor? Wasn't little sister Qingci moved by the song just now? Su Xing knew that their relationship was somewhat not too normal, and he wanted to find this opportunity to get close to her. The man taking the initiative had a chance. Besides, Su Xing felt that Qingci's status was not like the others. But Qingci only knows a tune on the guqin. Then that's actually perfect. Su Xing smiled. Elder sister. Li Longkuei voiced her dissatisfaction. Qingci shook her head. Fine, Qingci is indeed fond of this song. For Lord Su to not turn his back, your servant is thankful. Afterwards, Qingci brought out the Bayan zither. She set it along the ground, her slender fingers plucking the strings. Qingci's skills were like her own person, picturesque and magnificent. With just a pluck, the strings reverberated sweetly, suddenly making Su Xing have a sort of illusion of traveling through time as he filled with warmth. Su Xing suddenly recalled an unforgettable text message he had once received on Earth, and he subconsciously said, Little sister Qingci, this qin made me remember a text message. Text message? Lin Yingmei, Qingci, and Li Longkuei showed confusion. Ahem, it's a very long verse. Su Xing perspired. Your servant wonders what that verse is to be so unforgettable to young lord? Qingci curiously asked. Su Xing clearly said, 1,000 years before, I was the string you plucked apart. Traveling through time, I bring the lingering warmth of your finger in reincarnation to bond with you. There is nothing lavish, merely ordinary warmth. In passing years, I know that our companionship will last a day longer than eternity. Qingci merely felt this verse was odd yet full of ambiguity. Young Lord Su Xing, you truly think highly of Qingci. Qingci also happens to have a verse to give little sister Yingmei. Qingci gazed at Lin Yingmei, her heart moving. She softly recited, 1,000 years before, our dissipated life was in perfect harmony. Wandering through reincarnation, I bring my pledge to meet you again in this life. There is nothing eternal, merely every second of our company. In passing thoughts, I pray that our story will finally end. Lin Yingmei's pupils suddenly contracted. How could Lin Yingmei not hear the meaning of Qingci's words? Clearly, she was saying that she had come to end the star duels for the sake of the sisters, and the person destined to do so seemed to be her. Su Xing thought, fine, I haven't seduced you yet, but you're actually seducing my wife. His eyes oddly flickered, and he said, Little sister Qiongyu is creative as expected, to have unexpectedly responded in an instant, your servant was inspired. Lord Su is being ridiculous. Qingci slightly bowed. Su Xing said nothing more. Afterwards, their harmony progressed very smoothly. Qingci's guqin mastery was at the peak of perfection. Her slim fingers plucked the strings, the sound crisp as a chime stone, entering the ear, adding a picturesque charm to Su Xing's flute. The originally solemn millennial legendary flute followed the accompaniment of Qingci's guzheng. In a split second, it was full of an unprecedented happiness, sounding enchanted. The melodious flute echoed in the coral palace. Following the undulations that brought them into the boundless eras, the clear and suave flute reverberated, harmonizing with the guqin. The flute even carried a bit of warmth. Lin Yingmei was lost in the music, and even killer star Li Longkue had a rarely seen calm. In the flute, their minds seemed to have seen this scene. The girls descended from Maiden Mountain, the absolute beauties in the lofty Liangshan continent. They wielded swords, severing Liangshan. They gripped spears, warring everywhere. They were Maiden Mountain's 108-star maidens. When the song reached its final climax, their figures sublimated into Liangshan's legends and were carved forever into history. The expansive to the extreme music finally left behind a melancholic note. The song ended. A long silence. Even the cold and merciless Li Longkue stared at Su Xing with complete astonishment. Su Xing took a deep breath, storing the phoenix cry wind concentrating flute away. To be able to harmonize with Lord Su for a song, Qingci is satisfied. It appears that Lord Su has very deep sentiments about the star duels as well. If only in the future 7 Stars Assembly we can still have a chance to be like today. Qingci sighed and put away the Bayan Qin. Su Xing disagreed, so long as you yourself are willing, how can this be difficult at all? Qingci smiled yet said nothing. Seeing Qingci prepare to depart, Su Xing asked, Qingci, there's something I've always wanted to ask you. Qingci wonders what that is. Qingci turned around. Regarding the matter of leader star Song Jiang, what do you feel? Su Xing gazed at Qingci's eyes, his expression seemingly like a sword about to stab into that lake-like tranquility. The young girl that was as elegant as China remained unmoved. As usual, the corner of her lips slightly curled. Lord Su, why do you ask this? This generation's leader star, you ought to know her, don't you, Qingci? Su Xing asked. Your servant does not. Does young Lord Su Xing wish to kill her? Qingci was still elegant as a poem, but her tone clearly was a little cold. Ever since the star duels began, the leader star protector of righteousness Song Jiang acting as the first rank had always been at the front of the most bitter struggle, the focus of anyone's comments. The head of Maiden Mountain's 108-star maidens was unable to escape the attention of others, and ever since Song Jiang revealed her reputation of incompetence, matters regarding her became the laughingstock of the people. Killing the leader star thus became a matter second only to ascending Maiden Mountain, therefore, if one could not scale Maiden Mountain, they could still achieve fame in Liangshan continent by killing the star general who was head of the heavenly stars. And the fates of the past Song Jiangs could be said to be miserable. From the head of the heavenly stars down to the last of the earthly stars, they had the experience of being disgraced. The sole exception was the 8th generation of star duels. The 8th generation star duels could be said to have multiple variables. Not only did a 9-star destined weapon Wusong appear in that generation, Song Jiang in the records of that generation apparently had a pleasant journey and even contracted with a sword cultivator. Afterwards, that Song Jiang even brought about an inconceivable variable in the star duels. In the end, she star released and bestowed all of her star power in its entirety to that sword cultivator. Thus, she star fell at the same time. This could be said to have shaken Liangshan. When Su Xing mentioned Song Jiang's name, Qingci subconsciously deduced that he was prying into the leader star's powerful star energy. No, I want to ask Qingci your views on Song Jiang. Su Xing's expression was serious. Qingci evidently did not understand why Su Xing would mention the leader star. She thought about it slightly, but her heart was still a bit guarded and said, what does young lord want to obtain from Qingci's perspective? This generation's Song Jiang has yet to starfall, but neither have I heard even a trace of her. Qingci, what do you think? In the star duels, of the significance of the head of star generals, Song Jiang? Perhaps she has some ability to not be detected. Qingci pondered. What ability does little sister Qingci think that is? Qingci smiled. Your servant does not know this but wonders what perspective Lord Su has. Qingci wants to hear it. I feel Song Jiang may be the most important point of the star duels. Su Xing honestly replied. She definitely is concealing some information about Maiden Mountain on her. Perhaps it is something that can change the slaughter of the star duels. Even Lin Yingmei was surprised by his words. The majestic star looked at Su Xing in astonishment. She did not expect that Su Xing would surprisingly was still concerned about the matter of the Song Jiang had never met and the star duels, and her heart was somewhat touched. Qingci was stunned. Her high brows knitted together into a knot. Why would young lord feel that the incompetent Song Jiang would be the crux of the star duels? Very simple, Nash equilibrium. Su Xing declared. Qingci was at an even greater loss. That was equilibrium. What the hell? Game theory's famous theory of Nash equilibrium. Suppose there are n participants in a game. Given the strategy of the other players, each player will choose the Nash equilibrium that is most optimal, thus maximizing their own benefit. The strategies of all participants form a combination of strategies. Su Xing saw Qingci's stunned appearance and fake coughed. There's a difference. Games can be treated as the star duels, the participants, star generals. Since Maiden Mountain has arranged for the stars to fight, then naturally, there will be one equilibrium theory, and with the current Song Jiang, Qingci must also know that the leader star is very incompetent, unable to compare to even an earthly star. Seeing Qingci mechanically nod, Su Xing continued to say, then, it goes without saying, the difference in Song Jiang could only have one reason. What reason? Qingci found she could not keep up with Su Xing's line of thought. This is that she is an important factor of the star duels. This factor's existence caused the head of the 108-star maiden Song Jiang's capabilities to be substantially impaired. This is the law of equilibrium. 2. Before they could even retort, Su Xing spoke again. There is another important reason that I have these thoughts regarding Song Jiang's difference. Qingci's eyes were full of confusion. Song Jiang signing a contract will expose her position to all star generals, and her starfall will be a sky full of glittering stars. Why don't the other star generals have this treatment? Is it only because she is the first ranked? I don't think so. It must be because of this hidden law of equilibrium. Maiden Mountain would only do this if it was planning something. So I think Song Jiang is very important to the star duels. Su Xing concluded his speech. Lin Yingmei, Qingci, and Li Longkui were already dumb as wooden chickens, petrified. Young master, what are you saying? Lin Yingmei sobered up, feeling as if she had listened to something obscure. Su Xing's theory truly made Lin Yingmei feel shocked and impressed. And only people who cared about the star duels would pay attention to this kind of detail, right? The corner of Lin Yingmei's lips rose, and her heart brimmed with warmth. Extravagant words, a glib tongue. Li Longkui closed her mouth, unwilling to allow herself to feel any admiration for this man, even in death. Qingci was pensive, bewildered as she looked indefinitely at Su Xing. Young lord's thoughts truly makes my daughter, 3, impressed. Qingci has never thought of this aspect in this way. Qingci noticed that the body of the man before her seemed to have a mist, mysterious, impenetrable, but has young lord not thought that perhaps Maiden Mountain's 108 will just have an incompetent leader star that allows earthly star sisters to kill and take her star energy? Qingci's conjecture was not without logic. Leader star Song Jiang's star energy was unmatched. If an earthly star killed her, she could substantially increase star energy to heavenly star levels. Her realm and martial arts can also improve, so the past Song Jiangs have always been the appetizers for earthly stars. Perhaps this is what timely rain means. Qingci's smile was a bit sad. I've thought of this before. Su Xing conceded, but after seeing little sister Qingci's uprising, I suddenly recalled that Song Jiang has another title called Protector of Righteousness. 5. Qingci was taken aback, her smile like a summer flower. Does young lord believe that Qingci is Song Jiang? Are you, Qingci? Su Xing asked back. If your servant truly is Song Jiang, then would that not be somewhat strange? Why would the previous Song Jiang not have heard of the uprising? Qingci slightly smiled. It was precisely this point that Su Xing was unable to make sense of. Regardless whether you are Song Jiang or not, Qingci, your servant will treat you as his own little sister, this does not matter. Su Xing disapproved. Then many thanks for Lord Su's concern. Qingci was neither forceful nor placant. It appeared she did not want to probe further about the Song Jiang topic. She wanted to end this conversation. Su Xing's eyes turned, and he smiled. Qingci, do you want to solve the mystery of the star duels? Lord Su is somewhat strange tonight. Is it because of that tune? Qingci wrinkled her brow. Su Xing flipped out the birth treasure outline. He advanced steadily towards Qingci. That golden book flipped, radiating golden light, but this book that purportedly knew all information about a star general nevertheless showed no response towards Qingci. Seeing the beauty was somewhat irritated, Su Xing said, your servant heard Xinjie mention before that the 4 birth treasure outlines of the 4 territories conceal all the mysteries of the star duels. So long as the 4 books are pieced together, one can know all secrets of the star duels, but Qingci knows as well that because the past star masters were incompatible as fire and water, the 4 birth treasure outlines could not possibly combine. So I wish to invite Qingci to help me, to see whether or not the birth treasure outlines can combine. Is this also Lord Su's equilibrium? Everything must have a reason to exist. An extremely unlikely possibility is still a possibility, isn't it? Su Xing said. Qingci, could it be you don't want to know the secret of the star duels? Perhaps we can see something with 2 birth treasure outlines. Why should we believe the words of a man with a silver tongue? Li Longkue glowered. Su Xing extended his hand, directly floating the birth treasure outline to Qingci. Something like an astral treasure that relied on divine intent control did not need refinement. At this moment, so long as Qingci willed it, she could reach out and be able to steal this book. Su Xing was precisely using this method to express his trust for her. Young Lord Su's methods truly are formidable. Qingci wants to decline but will appear to be a heartless person. Qingci forced a smile. This is serious. My wives are indebted to profound love, and I only want to help them satisfy their wish to end the star duels. Su Xing slightly sighed. Qingci kept silent and flipped out her birth treasure outline. Su Xing's eyes flashed with a strange glint. Su Xing's words were stuck in the middle of Qingci's mind. Because Qingci's wish was to end the star duels, she desired more than anyone else did a reason for the star duels' existence. Su Xing's conjecture about the 4 birth treasure outline was merely a means, but Qingci did not doubt him. Seeing Su Xing already bring out his birth treasure outline, she also prepared to do the same. Li Longkue grunted to stop her. She still maintained absolute hostility towards Su Xing's glib tongue, his flowery words. Qingci shook her head. Perhaps she felt Su Xing was worth her trust, or perhaps due to the sight of the sisters following Su Xing so dearly, or perhaps for some other reason. In short, Qingci gestured with her hand to summon the birth treasure outline. The 2 books of golden characters hovered, orbiting each other like stars. Golden light twinkled, and the book pages flipped rapidly though there was no wind. After a moment, there were no changes at all. Qingci was somewhat disappointed and recalled the treasure outline. Looks like we may need all 4 in order to work. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. Qingci shook her head, this is perhaps a mission impossible to achieve. The Black Turtle Territory's birth treasure outline is with the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, and the White Tiger Territories has already disappeared. Xinjie mentioned that the White Tiger Territory's book is in the hands of a star master named Han Bing. Her star general is heaven-shaking Thunder Liangshan. Lin Yingmei said. Qingci showed a grateful smile, however, she still felt that this complete set of 4 birth treasure outlines was not too likely. The 2 chatted for a while longer, and then seeing that the day was already late, they departed. Su Xing kept watching that picturesque back until it disappeared. Only then did he put away his ponderings. Young lord, she has already left. Lin Yingmei pursed her lips. Yingmei, she's sung Jiang, as I expected. Su Xing expressionlessly said. Lin Yingmei was startled. She blinked at Su Xing, your servant also feels that this Qingci is different from the rest, but the past Song Jiang have never had uprising." Su Xing smiled and shook his head. He pointed with his hand, and the birth treasure outline flew in front of them. The pages fluttered until it reached the first page. He looked at this page in deep contemplation. Lin Yingmei walked forward and looked. Immediately, the majestic star was shocked. A row of golden characters had already appeared on that first page. "This is," Lin Yingmei shuddered. "Everything is truly miserable because our successor assassin star generals were all killed first as a priority by tacit understanding." Xuanla Feifei slowly walked about the crystal palace. Her hands held up several scrolls that she had just bought from a store. This treasure banquet was fine, for Xuanla Feifei very easily understood the rough knowledge regarding the star duels after the 4th generation. Mu Wuyu wanted to know who else could ascend after them assassins, but they had taken one look only to discover that because Xuanla Feifei's 3rd watch assassinations were universally shocking, unblockable, by the time the 7 Stars assembly began, there already was not a single trace of an assassin left. Afterwards, there was never again any assassin star general that could ascend. These star masters were honestly dirty. Mu Huiyu gloomily hung her face. Although she knew that the later star duels had nothing to do with them, to know that the sisters that held the same ranks they did had fallen to such a degree, any star general would feel anger. "Are the star duels not dirty?" Mu Wuyu dully agreed. Mu Huiyu remained silent. "Shall we find this generation's assassins, help out our down and out sisters?" Fairy Xuanla pondered. Although she was a trace of true spirit, she had her own consciousness to do as she pleased. Though her time was not long, it was enough to do some things that, so long as they did not disturb this generation's star duels and that Chao Gai, she believed Maiden Mountain would not object. The Mu Huiyu and Mu Wuyu sisters undoubtedly approved. Regarding their so-called trial, they completely disregarded Su Xing, putting him neither in their eyes nor on their mind. Rather than go do this sort of boring assignment, it was better to help this generation's assassins to ascend Maiden Mountain and wash away the disgrace of Investigative Star unrestrained and Guardian Star little restrained. This was a trip well worthwhile. Fairy Xuanla slightly smiled. Just as she debated how to go about this, suddenly, she heard the leisurely sounds of a flute and melodious qin. The two kinds of instruments were in perfect harmony. The song never stopped, and it was captivating. Fairy Xuanla closed her eyes to listen. She had been born in Heavenly Sound Valley and was inherently quite skilled with music. Her own flying swords were the Crown Prince Long Qin Heavenly Sound swords. Listening, she felt that the qin and flute combination brimmed with elegance, ease and remote heroism. Those like Xuanla Feifei who had passed through the cruel star duels and ascended felt particularly intense, and even the Mu sisters were moved. Xuanla Feifei seemed to recall that scene as if it had happened just yesterday, especially when she brazenly picked a fight with the alliance of majestic star Lin Chong and Wu Song, making a narrow escape. In that battle, both Mu sisters were sent back into the star nest, and Xuanla Feifei was hard-pressed into nearly starfalling. But in the end, she still emerged victorious and in that battle laid the path for herself to become overlord. Unknowingly, Xuanla Feifei's eyes had become wet. Only after the flute and qin music ended did she recover her composure. It seems a pair of star cultivators acting as a couple has appeared in this generation. Xuanla Feifei heard the tacit understanding and ambition in the players' harmony. Her lips curled, carrying a slight sorrow. However, what use is that? In the end, only one can live to be overlord, to ascend, correct, Fairy? Huiyu and Wuyu showed concern. Fairy Xuanla smiled, hinting to them that they did not need to worry. She originally wanted to see the combination of that couple, but it now seemed she would never find them. The ancient flower's fall can increase aroma, wind and rain completely blow hate away, yet it hides away passion. Back and forth who pities the fallen flower, ask the gentleman to collaborate to the end of the world, see not the gentleman's answer. In the drawn-out night, the gentle song echoed, carrying an unshakable melancholy. Chai Ling came to the Crystal Dragon Palace on the 2nd day of the treasure banquet. The Great Circle Castle's power naturally did not need explaining. The Crystal Dragon Palace specially arranged for a lone, noble star palace, for the Great Circle Castle's noble star. This noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Ling nevertheless was extremely low profile. There was no ceremony, and other than Qingci and Yuya, there were now an additional 2 women beside her. Kong Ho and a girl who, at first glance, appeared a bit ditzy. Duang, do you actually want to go? Chai Ling stroked Xinger, gently asking as she raised her brows. That girl clad in black skin-tight clothes had a black panther laying at her feet. She was guardian star Little Restrained Mu Duang. Many thanks for elder sister's concern. This time, I will definitely kill elder sister. Mu Duang clenched her fist and swore. Suddenly she felt this sentence was phrased a bit wrongly, and she immediately waved her hands to clear things up. Duang does not want to kill elder sister, but Duang is too eager to kill elder sister, too, and said it like this, wait, no, Aya. Chai Ling was speechless. Ever since she saved the guardian star, she knew that the assassin in front of her was quite imbecile here. She truly was very worried whether that Mu Duang would get lost just by walking could truly accomplish what she wanted. Seeing Mu Duang was flustered, Chai Ling sweetly smiled, this palace knows. The one you want to kill is investigative star Unrestrained Mu Hong. This palace has already heard you mention it numerous times. Duang definitely will surpass elder sister. Mu Duang was resolute. Chai Ling wanted very much to laugh. She truly did not understand just where the confidence of this little sister came from. She was obviously an earthly star assassin, but she unexpectedly wanted to challenge a heavenly star assassin. Furthermore, she did not have a contract. Truly, she had overinflated guts. Your chances of victory are but very low. Even if you lose your life, have you planned for this? Chai Ling seriously asked. She was unable to interfere in a star duel and could only cheer from the sidelines. Yes, and Duang has already promised someone else that I would achieve it. Duang will go do this even if I lose my life. Mu Duang was earnest. You unexpectedly would believe in an idiot star master's words. Chai Ling knew that Mu Duang would do this because she met with the assistance of a star master in Evil Smiting Hall while capturing her star beast. She swore an oath to that man, and the result was that Chai Ling could not dissuade her no matter what. In the future, she would have Su Xing go mercilessly teach that man a lesson. 3. He is no idiot, he treated Duang very well. Mu Duang stuck out her lip, somewhat unhappy. Chai Ling smiled wryly, then good. Do your best. Although this palace cannot interfere in the star duels, she can help you prepare several things to save your life. If you cannot defeat her, then flee. Yuya stepped forward and produced a treasure box. There were 2 purple talismans on it. Mu Duang blinked. This talisman is a supreme grade, Bagua Temple in Heaven talisman, and this is a Seeking Heaven talisman. 5. If you encounter danger, then open the box and use the 2 talismans. It can temporarily preserve your life. Chai Ling said. The noble star carried an air of queenly dignity, not accepting any refusal. Thank you, elder sister. Mu Duang was somewhat embarrassed. Take care of yourself. If you want to find a star master, this palace can introduce you. He but has Wusong. Chai Ling opened her golden thread feather fan with a kind of sly smile. No way. If I sign a contract, I would be the same as elder sister. Mu Duang giggled. Then she waved her hand and quickly departed. The Yin Room Black Panther became a dark shadow and slinked away. Chai Ling actually was somewhat fond of this dumb, little assassin. Those 2 talismans, one opens the temple in Heaven's Bagua, and the other transmits the user's whereabouts. Chai Ling, are you planning to help Su Xing receive the little sister? Kong Ho said. Chai Ling did not answer. Milady, a woman named Qingci requests an audience. She says that she has something important related to the star duels she would like to discuss with you. Qingci said. Qingci, a sister. Chai Ling nodded. Regarding the visit of any sister, the noble star treated everyone equally and would not decline them. A moment later, a picturesque woman daintily walked forth. Her aromatic scent wafted, filling the cart. Even Chai Ling was taken aback. Her gaze concentrated, and she extended a hand to pet Xinger, lowering her brow in deep thought. Little sister Chai Ling, I trust you have been well. Qingci was very refined. Before her, Chai Ling found that her own noble star queenly aura had ceased to exist. Qingci clearly was very elegant, her every smile and frown, her every word and gesture giving Chai Ling pressure. You are, Qingci showed a tender smile. Her hands suddenly brought out a banner. The banner depicted myriad stars descending into a starry river. The palace brightened up. Qingci shook the flag, and a resplendent light flashed, as illusory as if a star general had emerged from a star master's star nest. But the bangs over Qingci's spotlessly white forehead parted, and an absolutely beautiful star crest manifested. Chai Ling's gracefulness disappeared, and she thoroughly lost herself. Impossible, you are leader star timely rain song Jiang. Qingci is leader star timely rain song Jiang, this means her true name is Song Qingci. All of the girls were in disbelief after hearing Su Xing's words. Su Xing nodded. Is this true? Although the uprising is indeed strange, the past Song Jiangs have never gathered such a thing. Hua Wanyue was unconvinced. I do not believe this generation's Song Jiang can change the rules. It is true. Your servants saw young master's birth treasure outline. On it is Qingci's record. Lin Yingmei was serious. All of the girls looked at Su Xing in astonishment. Su Xing did not say anything. He directly flipped out the birth treasure outline and showed the first page. Star position, leader star name, Song Jiang nickname, protector of righteousness / timely rain true name, Song Qingci rank, first star weapon, justice on heaven's behalf uprising gathering banner, 0 star, / heavenly star birth banner, 0 star, 2, star beast, nun realm, matchless first stage innate skill, uprising 5 elements, metal / water yellow rank special move, nun dark rank special move, nun current status, uprising, cannot be conquered, detailed materials, protector of righteousness, young lord, how did you do this? Wu Xinjie could not close her mouth. Owing to Qingci's uprising, she and Su Xing were skeptical that Qingci was leader star Song Jiang, but at the time, Su Xing had tested the birth treasure outline several times without any reaction. Therefore, despite their doubt, they were always unable to determine this matter. Now that they saw the birth treasure outline manifested completely the leader star protector of righteousness Song Jiang's material, Wu Xinjie still thought that her eyes were deceived. How did it appear this time? Wu Xinjie asked in disbelief. Big brother, was the birth treasure outline not able to show anything? And Suan was confused. It was actually very simple. Since Su Xing felt that it was extremely likely that Qingci was Song Jiang. The reason that birth treasure outline was unable to show Qingci's information was because there was a magic weapon or such protecting her. Considering the special nature of the birth treasure outline that came from Maiden Mountain and that there were no records of this kind of data in Liangshan continent, Su Xing hypothesized that Qingci perhaps had a purple star astral treasure or such that she obtained from the birth treasure outline. Then, when he saw Qingci's birth treasure outline, Su Xing thought of a possibility. Leaving out every complex, if possible, or, maybe, the biggest reason the birth treasure outline did not show Qingci's information was because Qingci similarly possessed one of the treasure books. According to the Occam's razor principle that Su Xing knew, if not essential, do not overcomplicate. Thus, Su Xing found an excuse to ponder making the birth treasure outline temporarily leave Qingci. When he fooled Qingci by saying that combining the 2 treasure books could reveal a mystery of the star duels, Su Xing was naturally cooking up an excuse. His goal was only to make Qingci bring out her birth treasure outline in accordance with her own will. Then, the result and what he planned would be the same. If Qingci was really Song Jiang, then she inevitably would be related to the star duel's inside secrets. After he showed sincerity, Qingci had no reason or intent to decline. What happened afterwards was much simpler. Without the birth treasure outline on her person, Su Xing's birth treasure outline was able to illuminate Qingci's true identity. After hearing Su Xing's explanation, all of the girls were astonished. Though it seemed simple, how could this be noticed unless he had paid attention to the smallest detail? Uprising. I never imagined this generation's Song Jiang is surprisingly able to start an uprising. Is that not the same as you? Hua Wanhua felt this generation of star duels was somewhat perplexing. Could it truly be the so-called, because 9 brings about variables? Su Xing isn't uprising. We have actual contracts, no need for that kind of trick. Shi Yuan pursed her lips, disapproving. But the Song Jiangs from before have never had uprising? Shi Yu softly asked. This question stumped Su Xing. I fear only Maiden Mountain or Qingci herself knows. Su Xing spread his hands. Did dear husband not ask her? I asked Qingci, and she didn't answer. Apparently, she doesn't want anyone to know, so I didn't ask anymore. However, she truly is as young lord surmised. Perhaps Song Jiang indeed is a variable, but Xinjie does not know if she is a blessing or a calamity upon us, Wu Xinjie muttered. The knowledge star was still digesting all the information she just obtained. This information was truly a bit shocking. She never expected that the chief of the star generals Song Jiang would unexpectedly be like Su Xing, able to contract multiple star generals. Just what this never-before-seen uprising in the star duels represented, Wu Xinjie vaguely had an ominous premonition. But now with Su Xing's currently superb star general formation, even if in the future they fell out with Qingci, they had no need to fear. Compared to Song Jiang's uprising, I feel that investigating why you are able to break the rules of the star duels is far more significant. Zhang Feiyu both loved and hated this. Liangshan continent's star duels had never seen such a change in its nearly 1,000 years. Perhaps because I crossed over to Liangshan, that's the reason why I don't have restrictions. How could Su Xing ever say this reason aloud? Since they knew that this generation's Song Jiang had already metamorphosed from incompetent to practically unmatched, all of the girls did not dare to neglect grasping for every second they could. With the 3 heavenly books coming closer and closer, the time they had left was already becoming short. I am Yueying, little sister's honorable name. 3. The shopkeepers, this Tai essence gold is so expensive, are they extorting us? This prehistoric material of mine was dredged from the White Tiger territory, it can be exchanged for at least several hundred billion? Humi's luxurious purple skirt trailed along the ground, accentuating her graceful figure, like a bundle of budding lotuses in the water. In her hand, she played with a white seal. She was currently passing leisurely through the treasure banquet's exchange festivities. In the sea of people, a supervoid cultivator naturally would issue a might that made all other cultivators maintain a certain distance. The treasure banquet honestly is lively. Gold Lancer Su Jingshu changed her previous indifferent attitude and showed an interested appearance. The treasure banquet is but the final banquet for star masters before the 3 heavenly books. Jingshu, you must pay attention, perhaps we can find an opponent you want. Her, for example. Humi wore a charming expression as she swept her eyes over the crowd. The girl wore a low-cut top and short skirt. Even in this treasure banquet where female cultivators competed fiercely against each other, that girl appeared especially eye-catching. Especially that bodice-like top, 2 pieces of cloth merely half-covered her snow-white chest, offsetting her perfectly round wonders. Every man they passed could not help but stare wide-eyed. A star general. The girl glanced at Humi. Her alluring and hazy eyes glanced back at Su Jingshu and continued to chat nonchalantly with the girl in front of her. Shall your servant greet them? Su Jingshu was eager to try. No need, this sort of thing is best left until afterwards, Humi did not want to create side issues in the treasure banquet. However, if Lin Chong is spotted, your servant shall definitely go fight her. I also happen to want to acquaint myself with the Purple Thunder monster, just what abilities he has. Humi's slender fingers gripped tight the seal. The crowd in front of them stirred, erupting into excited shouts. Another new prehistoric spirit treasure has ranked in the top 10. Why does this 7 feathers fan sound a bit familiar? Could it be that prehistoric spirit treasure created from the plumage of the vermilion bird, clinging heavenly vermilion jian, fire phoenixes, burning wan, sun golden bird, 7 types of fire category divine bird? Some divine birds are already extinct. Should these 7 feathers not already have disappeared? Right, this 7 feathers fan is very awesome. Legend says that several dozen years earlier, a counterfeit karma fire fan was able to rank 8th on the spirit ceiling list. Tisk, tsk. Never expected it would surprisingly actually appear. This treasure banquet is interesting. Humu wrinkled her brow and looked at the spirit ceiling list. She never expected that in the mere 2 days of the treasure banquet, the top 10 of the spirit ceiling list would surprisingly have earth-shattering changes. 3 never-before-seen prehistoric spirit treasure had appeared. The first was still the Supreme Ultimate Diagram, the second was the 5 Dragons Lantern, the third was the 3 Clarities Banner, the fourth was the Empress 2 Earth Book, the fifth was the Boundless Bell, the sixth was the 7 Feathers Fan, the 7th was the 4 Symbols Seal, the 8th was the 6 Paths Plate. The originally ranked 4th 6 Paths Plate had unexpectedly fallen to 8th. 5 Dragons Lantern, Empress 2 Earth Book, 7 Feathers Fan, Humi muttered. No wonder the Purple Thunder monster can move through the 4 territories unhindered. Never expected him to have spirit treasures so defiant of the natural order on his person. Gently grunting, Humi extended her hand and sent in several rays of divine intent. The spirit ceiling list rippled. The black turtle seal was ranked 16th. Look quickly, there is another new prehistoric spirit treasure. Black turtle seal, a pity it is only 16th. All of the cultivators felt pity. This black turtle seal is actually quite powerful, Humi's eyes glinted. She never expected the black turtle seal to place in the top 16. That purple thunder monster honestly had assets. These never-before-seen prehistoric spirit treasures were each formidable. However, no matter what, they will not compare to the Supreme Ultimate Diagram. Su Jingshu yawned. Yes. Humi slightly smiled. Elder Sister Chuha, our yin-yang twin swords have been displaced from the spirit ceiling list's top 10 by the dual modes ruler. Sikong Dangnyo worriedly said. This generation's never-before-seen prehistoric spirit treasures truly are innumerable. Does that have something to do with the purple thunder monster? Sikong Chuha was more deliberate than her younger sister. Her younger sister looked only at rankings, yet she saw a bit of danger from that. Elder sister, we must quickly increase the ranking of the yin-yang twin swords. Sikong Dangnyo was impulsive and unresigned. The spirit ceiling list ranking was only a reference, but she was vain. The higher the rank of the spirit treasure at hand always filled a cultivator with indescribable self-confidence. This was also why cultivators would be so willing to enter. Do not do this. Sikong Chuha was indifferent, aloof. Elder sister. The yin-yang twin swords was previously entered into the spirit ceiling list by a supervoid stage cultivator. Our cultivation is merely supercluster late stage, far from comparison to our seniors. Testing now will only rank even lower. Sikong Chuha said. Sikong Dangnyo was unconvinced. We sisters are of one mind, we can definitely make the yin-yang twin swords even stronger. Unable to overcome her younger sister's obstinance, Sikong Chuha followed her along as she herself did not care at all for the spirit ceiling list ranking. The two girls simultaneously sent in the yin-yang twin swords' divine intent. The entire plaza was first stunned, then they immediately burst into uproarious laughter. As Sikong Chuha foresaw, the yin-yang twin swords fell directly from 11th place to more than 30. Shit! Sikong Dangnyo was dumbstruck. Sikong Chuha rolled her eyes. We sisters have one mind. Although we can allow the yin-yang twin swords to be even more powerful, the spirit ceiling list looks at a cultivator's cultivation and powers in its evaluation. Supervoid stage and supercluster stage have a disparity like that of heaven and earth. But more than 30 is already considered pretty good. It angers me to death. Dangnyo grieved, heartbroken. Wei Ranxin and Shan Menger looked at each other and helplessly shrugged. Do not mind this kind of trifle. The lower the ranking, the more careless the opponent will be in future star duels, which is even better. Qingci slightly smiled, happy instead of bitter. Now, let us immediately go gather materials for the heaven-earth shears. Once we refine the heaven-earth shears, we sisters inevitably can rise above the others. I understand, elder sister. Qiongyu. Zhang Feiyu's expression was ice-cold as she looked at the spirit sealing list. The three big words, Black Turtle Seal, cut painfully into Qiyouyu's heart like a sharp dagger. Has that Humi also come? Qiyouyu's face was covered in a layer of frost. The black turtle seal that Su Xing gifted her had been stolen, making the water illusion fairy brood deeply. She treated the black turtle seal that Su Xing had gifted her the first time as an engagement item, something to particularly treasure. She did not expect that after only just receiving it that it would be stolen. Although Su Xing was indifferent, Qiongyu felt this was a disgrace. Her heart was in incomparable suffering, unable to be resolved. There she is. Zhang Feiyu spotted the young woman in a purple skirt. The supervoid female cultivator's additional stunning beauty was very eye-catching in the crowd. Let us go. Qiongyu grit her teeth, her eyes spouting flames, as the pair walked towards Humi. Humi curiously watched the girl in front of her. After a while, she slightly smiled and sighed, so it is you. That purple thunder monster truly is very skilled. In such a short time, he has surprisingly reached supervoid from supercluster middle stage. This truly is unsurpassed. The young woman before her wore a white palace dress, nevertheless, its simple elegance had an additional mundane aspect. The wide sleeves trailed behind her, graceful and luxurious. Her glossy black hair was bound simply in a flying immortal bun. Several large and round pearls decorated her hair, making the black bun appear elegant and even more bright. Her beautiful eyes overflowed with splendor, and her red lips rippled with a sneer. Humi, fight your servant once more. Qiongyu coldly glared at the seal Humi played around with in her hand. Humi could see through her thoughts. She gently said, "It is reasonable to say that as you are the purple thunder monster's exclusive property, you are his partner. Mir should take this opportunity to split you from him, to destroy one of his arms." The topic then changed. A pity that this has ruined my mood for the treasure banquet, I decline. Qiongyu did not expect her to say this. Hey, don't tell me you're afraid. What now, the Azure Dragon Territory's star masters are all cowards. Zhang Feiyu jeered. Little me, this little sister is truly noisy. Su Jingshu yawned. She actually did not view the boatman as an opponent. Do you want this black turtle seal back? Humi toyed with the black turtle seal. She craftily said, how about this then? Let us compete at the Crystal Dragon Palace's training field. If you whined, I shall return this black turtle seal to you. If you lose, little me shall not make things difficult for you. You only need to inform you why you are so willing to believe in the purple thunder monster, and if I refuse. Qiongyu coldly asked. You were the one who came looking for little me in the first place. Does it matter to me whether you agree or refuse? Humi smiled and said. How about right now? Zhang Feiyu clenched her fist. The Crystal Dragon Palace had the connecting heaven-ocean settling pearls as protection. If a star duel actually occurred here, then it would inevitably alarm the whole place as well as implicate Su Xing. Qiongyu did not want to create side issues at such a critical juncture. In actuality, the water illusion fairy knew that although she was supervoid stage, that had only been a few days prior. She was a bit inferior to Humi, and Gold Lancer Su Ning's hook spear technique was absolute. The golden armor she had inherited was even more famous in Liangshan. Even some top-notch star weapons were unable to contend against it. If they actually battled, Qiongyu had no chances of victory. Thinking quickly, Qiongyu made her decision. Fine. Training Palace. Humi in purple clothes and Qiongyu faced one another. Guardian Star Gold Lancer Su Ning put away her indolent attitude. She took several steps forward, waved her hand, and an enchanting golden lance appeared in her hand. There were 4 faintly visible stars twinkling, the golden hooked soul-snatching lance. Zhang Feiyu snorted and brought out the blazing fish king saber. Do not hold back, do not let Jingshu feel bored. Su Jingshu languidly stretched. I, Feiyu, will make you climax. The boatman shouted, suddenly attacking. Ah! The golden hooked soul-snatching lance caught Zhang Feiyu's blazing saber, and then she swept, shaking the spear. Zhang Feiyu was repelled several paces. Su Jingshu's spearmanship was eerie, impossible to defend against. Each thrust made Zhang Feiyu's guard abnormally awkward, deeply irritating the boatman. The widely maneuvering blazing saber was completely useless. Infuriated, her palm shook. The blazing fish king saber shook out a clear rotation. Zhang Feiyu gripped the saber and used full power to attack with her yellow rank saber technique fish dragon roaming fire. A fire dragon like a golden fish rolled out from the saber. Su Ning caught it with her lance and vertically slashed downwards, letting the fish fire burn her body without reacting at all. The flames dispersed, and her figure charged out. A thrust directly penetrated Zhang Feiyu's chest. The boatman was alarmed that one of her ribs had been broken. Zhang Feiyu was a risk-taker, not retreating but advancing. However, Su Ning was a different sort of character. Comparing martial arts, she was also superior. Her shoulders suddenly drew close, and a pressure like that of a mountain pressed on the boatman. Zhang Feiyu's lungs seemed to be ripped apart in pain, and she slid back several dozen meters, gold and stone splitter. Su Ning gripped her spear, and a ray of blinding gold light suddenly tore apart Zhang Feiyu's line of sight. Meanwhile, Shiyu was not idle. Knowing that in terms of star generals, it was probably unfavorable for Zhang Feiyu to face Su Ning, she immediately launched an attack on Humi. So long as she could injure Humi, Su Ning would inevitably also be harmed. The 2 first raised flying swords. However, the flying swords Humi forged were the Purple Firmament Immortal Palace's renowned Purple Firmament Sword Chant. The sword chant activated, and a multicolored mist descended like a mountain. Shiyu's sword chant could not compare at all. She had returned her sky-clinging spiritual distribution banner to the sect after leaving it. She actually had the dual modes ruler as a protective artifact, but she had been suppressed by flying swords into complete defeat mere moments in. Shiyu promptly activated her power, like illusion, like reality soul technique. 100 flying swords manifested a multitude of sword shadows in the sky, surprisingly becoming innumerable, just like a black cloud. The black cloud pressed down on the city, only then inhibiting the purple firmament swords. Humi remained unimpressed. She fiddled with the black turtle seal in her white hands. The black turtle seal immediately smashed towards Shiyu. This seal shall be returned to you, be sure to catch it properly. The black turtle seal suddenly magnified, and its whole body radiated black and white light. The crystalline seal faintly had Minute Talisman script moving about, manifesting the black turtle true spirit. When a super void cultivator activated the magic weapon, it naturally was not weak. Before Humi had used full power, the drilling field had been rocked by the black turtle seal, about to collapse. The pressure pushed down, but Shiyu did not shrink back. Secretly chanting, 2 rays of light flew out from her sleeves, assuming the form of yin and yang to firmly resist the black turtle seal's pressure. Shiyu urged on her supervoid star energy, attempting to take the black turtle seal. Dual modes ruler. Humi was astonished. That purple thunder monster truly is not unkind to you, to surprisingly give this level of spirit treasure to you. Little me truly is more and more curious about him. As she said this, Humi sent star energy into the black turtle seal. The black turtle seal briefly shuddered and let out a long cry. That seal imprint uttered an air-shattering voice. The 3 Zhang-sized seal carried this thundering power. The dual modes ruler's form struck the black turtle seal like whips, releasing cracking sounds. The hull tottered on the edge of collapse, with cracks becoming more numerous. Humi took back the black turtle seal and retreated a step, her expression not as relaxed as before. If this continues, the Crystal Dragon Palace will expel us. Her figure flashed, and Gold Lancer Su Ning slowly returned to her side. Zhang Feiyu was forcing herself up, extremely exhausted. The victor was clear. It appears to be our victory. A slight grin appeared on Humi's lips. Who says? Zhang Feiyu was indignant and forced herself to stand up. Just at this moment, a mildly sweet and beautiful voice entered the hall, making people appear intoxicated. Bullying a water general is not skillful. Guardian Star Gold Lancer Su Ning, fight me, how about it? Everyone turned their gazes. A beautiful girl had appeared in the hall at some point in time. Her haze-shaded clothes, short cloak, and 2 lotus leaf-like pieces of cloth covered her chest, half exposing her snow-white roundness. Her deep cleavage was especially prominent, and in the middle hung a brilliant piece of colored glass. Below her snow-white belly was a 100-pleat short skirt, with gilded edges and flowery embroidery. Her white legs were encased in knee-high black stockings. Clad in multicolored boots, each of her steps seemed to tread on clouds, extremely gorgeous. The girl's appearance was sweet, her bright eyes pleasant. Perhaps she had drunk some wine, but her white and fair skin was dyed with an intoxicated pink. Even her expression carried traces of drunkenness, and her voice was like a fine wine, intoxicating. She honestly was slightly tipsy and flushed, brushing her peach blossom red cheeks with a rippling smile. Humu recognized the young woman as the one that caught her attention earlier. As expected, she was a star general. Where did you pop out from? I, Feiyu, have not played enough. Zhang Feiyu shouted. That was an inconceivable scene. The multicolored light flashed, and the young woman already appeared in front of Zhang Feiyu. Her speed was so fast it left Zhang Feiyu dumbstruck. If you are not happy, then both of you can come together. The young woman knocked Zhang Feiyu back with one strike. Her right hand clenched, and a weapon of multicolored light entered her hand. Humi and Shiyu froze. They did not know if the woman before them was actually drunk or too arrogant to surprisingly face the 4 of them. The next instant, Su Ning's desire for battle was aroused. Laughing, the golden hooked soul-snatching spear attacked. The girl's body techniques were wonderful. Her hand moved and knocked Su Jingshu away with one strike. I hear that Guardian Star Gold Lancer Su Ning has another unrivaled armor star weapon, Goosefeather Ring Gold Armor. How about you allow me to experience it? What an arrogant star general. Humi sneered and suddenly attacked. Zhang Feiyu was red-faced with anger. She raised the blazing Fish King saber to attack from behind. The girl practically was trapped on all sides, yet she remained easygoing, unhurried as she consecutively defended against the 3 women. Her left hand then manifested a segmented staff weapon, attacking all sides with great dexterity, surprisingly suppressing Su Ning and the others' assault. I forgot to introduce myself, I am Yueying. Little sister, speak your true name. Star position, Speed Star name, Dai Zong nickname, Magic Traveler true name, Dai Xingyue rank, 20th star weapon, Star Chasing Moon Treading Armored Horse, 2 star, /Sky Confusing Heart Bell, not manifested, Star Beast, Divine Hawk Realm, Matchless 3rd stage innate skill, Magic Traveling Array 5 elements, Earth Yellow rank special move, Sun Travels Thousandly Dark rank special move, Flying Smoke Scattering Stars Earth rank special move, Sun Pursuit current status, Uprising. Cannot be conquered, detailed materials. Han Bing currently stood at the top of one of the Crystal Dragon Palace's halls overlooking the ant-like market. At the same time, the birth treasure outline opened before her, endlessly scanning women in the crowd who appeared especially beautiful. If her luck was not bad, she had a good probability to encounter a star general. Using this method, a list of names of star generals had appeared in her birth treasure outline. Of course, understanding the material of star generals was only second. The most important thing was for Han Bing to search for a second star general to sign a contract with for her twin stars button. But when she spotted the record of Dai Zong, Han Bing's ice-like indifferent expression wrinkled its brow. Uprising? What kind of contract is this? Ling Feishue gasped, confused. The taciturn woman Xian Lao beside Han Bing pursed her lips, clearly at a loss. Imperial sister, do you know what uprising is? Ling Feishue asked the golden long-skirted woman beside Xian Lao. The girl had wavy golden hair and had a seemingly solemn complexion. She looked displeased and shook her head. I heard that Song Jiang's innate skill is uprising, could it be this? Han Bing said in a low voice. Impossible, there has never been this sort of thing before. Ling Feishue flatly denied it. Perhaps it is the effect of a magic weapon like the Twin Stars button. Thinking about, it could only be this. Imperial sister, you must remember well little sister's whereabouts. When there is a chance, pay her a visit and we will know then. The golden-haired girl nodded, concentrating on Dai Xingyue. A third, bright golden eye suddenly opened on her spotlessly white forehead. After a long while, it then closed. Han Bing nodded. Since she could not be conquered, it was completely useless. Not thinking about this anymore, she continued to scan with the birth treasure outline. At this time, the birth treasure outline displayed new information. Han Bing looked. Immediately, she was interested. Hero star Little Li Guang Hua Rong has comprehended her Earth rank technique. Liked it? For her to surprisingly comprehend Earth rank, what a formidable elder sister. Ling Feishue enviously said. To comprehend Earth rank at this stage was not odd at all, just like how the Dai Xingyue a moment ago was in possession of an Earth rank technique, but the significance of a top-notch heavenly star's Earth rank was not the same. Their martial arts were powerful, and their heaven, earth, dark, yellow techniques were also not easy to comprehend. Han Bing, if you can contract the hero star, that would be great. Ling Feishue licked her lips. Han Bing was indeterminately gloomy. How could she not be excited about that graceful woman, but she was very clear that hero star Little Li Guang and the White Tiger territory had a very poor relationship, and she kept close to that majestic star Lin Chong. Rumor said that she had a relationship with the Purple Thunder monster. To contract with her was more difficult than climbing the sky, but Han Bing wanted to try. Wait until grandfather returns, then we shall see. Going now is only laughable. Xian Lao finally spoke, her voice heavy and hoarse, but it was exceptionally unrefusable. To defeat the Purple Thunder monster, we indeed can only wait until grandfather. Han Bing took a deep breath, retracting her gaze from Hua Wanyue. Can that old man obtain along the river during Qingming, now that he has gone to the Great Liang Imperial Palace? Ling Feishue asked, I hear that Emperor Liang is very powerful. Emperor Liang ought to be rushing to attend the treasure banquet. Grandfather probably will not encounter him. The others are not even grandfather's opponent. Right now, grandfather should have already taken that thing at this time. Han Bing's eyes narrowed, flashing a slight chill. She showed a derisive detached expression as she gazed at the bubbling tide of people in the Crystal Dragon Palace. Great Liang Imperial Palace, a vast expanse of colored glass, jade platforms and rooms, layered row upon row. If one looked carefully from above on a flying sword, they would discover that the Great Liang Imperial Palace's structure was elaborate, with a vaguely comprehensible pattern. At the Great Liang Imperial Palace, there was also a tall tower linked with iron chains. This tall tower surrounding Ten Li had no other structures, only 8 palace doors. On the giant 8, bucket-like chain links, there were faint and cryptic talisman script. With each attack, the chains rattled. What the 8, 9 true evil smiting chains trapped was not a demon beast or a devil, rather, it was a scroll. This scroll slightly unraveled. The portrait depicted mountains and rivers, a pleasant country scene, as if it could leap out of the painting. The scroll's surroundings were full of golden mist, as if there was an actual devouring the clouds and rolling the moon, too wonderful for words. If an intruder invaded, the 8 gates would firmly activate an array, making it difficult for even an entire army to breach. This platform was the Great Liang's demon sealing platform. Amazing, so this is the demon sealing platform, the 8 gates heaven mixing array. The chi of the ley line has also been added into the 9 true evil smiting chains. No wonder that along the river during Qingming can suppress prehistoric demons. Zhang Feng's face showed astonishment as he looked at the demon ceiling platform. Now is the perfect time for us, Xiang Qingci said in a low voice. Grandfather Li's eyes were closed as he leisurely walked, entering the 8 gates heaven mixing array. Xiang Qingci and Zhang Feng did not have grandfather's strength and could only defend the outside. A moment later, cultivators already flew out of the Great Liang Imperial Palace. Who goes there, to unexpectedly dare charge into the demon-suppressing pagoda? A tall and elegant man with a face like jade sternly said. In his hand was a banner that shook, releasing mechanism beasts. You are the great Liang state scholar Mo Shangxian. We hear that you are a descendant of the Mo clan. Perfect, there is something we have need of you for. Zhang Feng smiled. Humph. Mo Shangxian sneered. Several dozen cultivators controlled their sword chants to form a sword array. Suddenly, several dozen shadows quickly shot over. Those black shadows shuttled back and forth, ripping apart space. The black lights ran through them, directly piercing their hearts. Their defensive magic weapons were torn to shreds like paper. The cultivators died suddenly. A girl in black clothes appeared out of thin air, her fingers pinching shadowy flying daggers. Hey, this place has nothing for you, so do not disturb. Nong Mei interrupted. Seeing her attack was extremely fast, her arms flung, and the shadow-flying daggers flew off with practically no traces. The heads of several dozen supercluster cultivators were run through in succession. Xiang Qingqi's Star General Little Conqueror Zhou Zhiyun's flowing water-green depth spear was also tyrannical. Yellow spear technique, green soldier slash, practically was invincible. How could these supercluster cultivators contend against a Star General's 4-star destined weapon attack? Each and every one of them lacked the power to fight back. Star Masters, why must you provoke trouble? Mo Shangxian wrinkled his brow. A supercluster stage giant ape puppet blocked in front of him. We only want to borrow the along the river during Qingming. Lord State Scholar, it would be better to be generous. Zhang Feng said amicably. Your servant upholds His Majesty's orders. How can I let you take it away? Mo Shangxian produced another puppet banner. This was a white tiger puppet. Its cultivation was unexpectedly equivalent to Supervoid stage. Supervoid stage puppet, truly extravagant. Zhang Feng sighed elegantly, yet his expression was not as carefree as before. He flipped through his bag. This bag twinkled with green light, incessantly agitated. He pointed the bag at Mo Shangxian. The bag's mouth opened, and suddenly, a squall blew out. Dust and stone flew about, and an enormous storm blew the cultivators into disarray, their defenses in shambles. This treasure was known as the Cool Breeze Bag, Zhang Feng's life-cast magic weapon. The demon beasts of the White Tiger mostly had a life-cast magic weapon. Because it was linked with their own mind, it was more powerful than typical magic weapons. However, forging a life-cast magic weapon meant they could not cultivate life-cast flying swords. Although it was called the Cool Breeze Bag, it nevertheless could unleash an unstoppable storm. The area in a range of 10 li was lifted by the gale. The wind was like a blade, tearing reinforced armor to shreds in an instant. Some cultivators of high cultivation barely withstood it, but following Zhang Feng's exertion, these cultivators immediately felt powerful pressure. Supervoid cultivator. Everyone was shocked. Nong Mei and Zhou Zhiyun seized this chance to attack. Go! Mo Shangxian shouted. Several large puppets were summoned in succession, but the 2 star masters in front of them were far more powerful than they had imagined. The large and sturdy man would not lose to a star general in battle. He wielded a large staff and slaughtered the puppets. Although that Zhang Feng appeared carefree, the magic weapon made everyone face a great enemy. Just who are you? Mo Xiangshan watched the shaking demon suppressing pagoda's 8 gates, and his tone chilled. Shut up, courting death. Zhou Zhiyun shouted. Her dark rank spear technique green spear tip passing through directly broke Mo Shangxian's guardsmen puppets. The Mo clan puppets were superb, but their powerful defenses broke with a single strike. The little conqueror prepared to kill this man to end the supervoid puppet's trouble. Mo Shangxian, the great Liang state scholar, evaded with precise timing. Immediately afterwards, he bit open his fingertip, spraying his blood into the air. The puppet glowed a complete red, and it immediately pressed the attack. At this time, the great Liang dynasty's hundreds of cultivators were currently pouring here endlessly to offer aid. Every sort of magic weapon and flying swords heralded a combatant, pushing back and forth in the storm, a fierce battle. Just at this moment, they heard a whinny approach. That neigh was odd, obviously 1,000 li away a moment ago, but now it was apparently already in front of them. Zhiyun, careful. Zhang Feng's divine intent moved, and he hastily shouted. But he was already too late. Little conqueror Zhou Zhiyun sensed danger, but her foe's speed was honestly too swift. As if suddenly rushing over completely without any preparations to react, a powerful and scorching momentum slammed into Zhou Zhiyun like a tidal wave. Astonishingly, the girl's powerful star energy could not endure this one strike. She vomited blood. Immediately afterwards, she was too late to raise her spear and fight back. A divine steed of hooves wreathed in flame, but a whole body of ice and snow was in front of her. Sitting on the horse, a woman laughed just like a great general leading an assault. Her hand raised and slashed with an axe, cutting into Zhou Zhiyun's body. The pitiful little conqueror Zhou Zhiyun was completely unprepared. First, she was knocked asunder by that horse, and then she was hacked by an axe. If it was not for a star general's indestructible body, this powerful and heavy blow would have absolutely split Zhou Zhiyun's body in two. Even so, Zhou Zhiyun cried out in pain. She lifted her head to look at the general on the horse and the scorching axe head. Her pupils shrunk. Immediately, her body disappeared, falling into the star nest. Xiang Qingci's stiff face malevolently warped as he stared at the newcomer. Impatient vanguard is here. Little sisters, prepare to die. The woman on the horse restlessly shouted. This king thought to see imperial sister, but this king never imagined to encounter two star masters who do not know they are dead breaking into the forbidden palace. As father emperor is not present, allow this king to pass judgment on father's behalf. A heroic man standing on a fiery flying sword appeared, his attitude arrogant. He was Zhao Heng. Zhao Heng brought the heavenly star impatient vanguard, relying on her charge innate skill to instantly dispatch Zhou Zihayan, immediately boosting the morale of the cultivators. Your Highness Heng, why are you? Mo Shangxian contrarily wrinkled his brow. You still do not run? Zhao Heng haughtily said. Two non-heavenly star masters were breaking into the imperial palace, and with so many cultivators and the national scholars' assistance, Zhao Heng already planned to destroy these two star masters here. Afterwards, Father Emperor would inevitably recognize him. National scholar, Qingci, today, we shall let these short-sighted fools know of the great Liang's might. Zhao Heng laughed. Zhao Heng and Suo Qingci broke through in a spurt of energy. The heavenly star marshal general took action, and Sang Feng and Xiang Qingci immediately fell to a disadvantage. Mo Shangxian could not help but feel that this maiden mountain star generals were indeed unequaled in the words when he saw this scene, for only one impatient vanguard to render them an advantage. Mo Shangxian prepared to rally a group. Just at this moment, the demon's ceiling platform boomed and rocked. The 9 true evil smiting chains and the 8 gates broke one after another, shattering. An astral thunder descended from the sky, striking directly onto the complacent Zhao Heng. His protective magic treasures disintegrated, and Zhao Heng fell. Your Highness. Suo Qingci lost the color in her face. Han Yan isn't here yet? Su Xing lifted his head to look at the parting waves. Several dozen men and women dressed in the robes of true immortal hall had arrived. Their leader was a supervoid middle-stage cultivator wearing a grave and stern expression. Among these people, Su Xing did not see Zhao Hanyan's figure. With the Ling Yan princess supervoid cultivator, perhaps she already does not follow the comings and goings of her sect. Wu Xinjie surmised. Because star masters relying on the star duels cultivated too quickly, their ascent into supervoid stage often would let them act as they pleased and to not necessarily follow their sect as they had before. Is that so? Su Xing's brow deeply creased. The intertwined branch sword's light was increasingly dim, and his heart was somewhat ill at ease. I shall go ask for young lord. A moment later, Wu Xinjie returned. What is it, did you find anything? They say that the Ling Yan princess has gone to Kunlun to refine the 1,000-year tears and has yet to return to the sect. Wu Xinjie muttered. Perhaps the Ling Yan princess has found a way to rescind the intertwined contract. Lin Yingmei suddenly said. Su Xing was stunned. He nodded and felt this was very logical, concerned yet confused. With Zhao Hanyan's cultivation and the 5 tiger generals Dong Junqing at her side, he really did not need to worry too much. That Kunlun was known as an immortal mountain, with the Liangshan continent's top-notch medicine refinement master Queen Mother of Kunlun. Perhaps there really was some elixir involved, but even this would not explain the intertwined branch sword's abnormality. That's good. I'm currently on the receiving end of Maiden Mountain's retaliation. This will avoid implicating her. Wu Xinjie and Lin Yingmei glanced at each other. The knowledge star covered her grin. Young lord truly keeps the Ling Yan princess on his mind, yet that steadfast star is not one bit grateful at all. Men with drooling gazes ogled at Hunyangzi. That water-blue figure was wonderful and graceful. Even the most clear-hearted and refined cultivators could not help but let their imaginations run wild. However, the girl's icy golden pupils were too piercing and cold, making all cultivators that had these thoughts stare from afar. Bright star 10 feet of blue accompanied Tang Lianxin as she browsed the Heaven East district. Solitary star Tang Lianxin's personality was reclusive, not fond of speaking. The atmosphere between them was evidently somewhat silent, so much so that the somewhat reticent Hunyangzi did not feel uncomfortable at all. Does elder sister have anything she wants Lianxin to forge? Tang Lianxin selected a few spirit jades and stones, suddenly turning her head back to ask. Hunyangzi was currently monitoring every movement in her surroundings. When she heard the question, she did not respond immediately but blinked. No need. Hunyangzi shook her head. I already have these feelings lasso. There is no need for anything else. The bright star knew that Tang Lianxin was forging defensive astral treasures for the sisters, and this task was not easy. Tang Lianxin did not answer. In the Heavenly East district, after having seen hundreds of shops, a gambling stone pavilion field drew Tang Lianxin's interest. The so-called gambling stone was also known as the jade in the stone. This kind of jade appeared ordinary on the outside, but its inside had condensed outstanding essence qi. The spiritual power of the extracted jade was abundant, and using it to forge magic weapons and the like was much better than using ordinary stones. Tang Lianxin was always very curious about the gambling stone. Seeing that the gambling stone pavilion had flocks of people coming and going, pleasantly surprised shouts occasionally rang out from within. Pondering for a moment, she then entered the gambling stone pavilion with Hunyangzi. Entering the narrow pathway, the interior suddenly opened up to an area with standing room only. Countless cultivators all stared intently at the gambling stone on the table. This gambling stone pavilion allowed free trade. Some cultivators that wished to strike fortune would put in all their might here. A young woman was currently sitting on a chair on the platform, her expression arrogant. Upon seeing her, Tang Lianxin's pupils shrunk. That girl was none other than jade-armed craftsman Jin Daijian. 100 cultivators were using careful observation on that gambling stone. Among them was no lack of supercluster-level ancestors. Tang Lianxin stood in a corner, coldly watching. Although she did not have an innate skill the level of Jin Daijian's jade carving, her tool refinement ability could allow her to more or less understand spirit stones and the like. The gambling stone was an ashen gray suffused with pure white. It was approximately 30 kilograms, the shell full of white snowflakes. Under the light, the stone's whole body was like snow, translucent. Tang Lianxin's eyes watched the stone revolve, and her heart gradually grew interested. The gambling stone was dead silent. Each and every cultivator was deeply pondering. Qiongyu indifferently drank tea and said, "Whoever still wants to gamble, start bidding." The hall shifted. Immediately, someone tested the waters, 400 million. As if Qionyu's air of arrogance could cade. She hinted at them to continue bidding. Jade in the stone was in of itself an object worthy of collecting. The spiritual jade inside was priceless, even if only finger-sized. However, nobody could discern just whether or not a stone actually had spirit jade within. Some jades in the stone appeared remarkable, but extracting the interior revealed emptiness or even a bit of spirit chi jade, which was an enormous loss. The people below began whispering to one another. This item was quite good. To say nothing of its ample power, just that body full of snow was worth more than 400 million. This was too far from Qionyu's price. The gambling stone pavilion was full of every sort of person, including scattered cultivators from the 3 territories. Other than those somewhat snooping about the jade in the stone, the gambling stone itself was extremely provocative. The price steadily grew higher. In moments it was already close to 5 billion, somewhat surprising even Hunyangzi. At such a high price, Qiongyu still was aloof with that intent to not sell. She sneered, "This jade in the stone is practically a treasure. Everyone knows the worth of jade with such strong spiritual power. Give it to a cultivator to refine, and it will be enough to allow a supercluster cultivator to jump to supervoid, but these bids are too unreasonable." Saying this, Qiongyu brought out her dragon carving hammer. She gently struck on a flower of snow white, filling the area with blue and green light. Qiongyu clapped her hands and said, "Is there any use in probing further? This price will not last." Skillful star jade armed craftsman. All the cultivators recognized the star weapon dragon carving hammer. The whole area exploded as each cultivator looked at one another. If this stone fully unraveled its power, it would be worth at least 100 billion. As far as a cultivator at the current stage was concerned, it was even more priceless. Immediately, someone yelled, 10 billion. Qionyu's serious expression paid no heed. The atmosphere was fervent as another shouted a higher price, 20 billion. 30 billion. 50 billion. The jade in the stone flew up as if it had grown wings. Constantly shouting, 60 billion, it was supercluster cultivator with significant fortune and backing that dared call out. "Is this stone worth so much money?" Hunyangzi was in disbelief. "She is very smart." Tang Lianxin spat out these 4 words, as if she was too stingy to say another word. Hunyangzi was bright and immediately understood what Tang Lianxin meant by smart. Skillful star Qiongyu first revealed her star weapon to display her identity. The jade-armed craftsman was known by all in Liangshan. Although she was not a martial general, that jade refinement innate skill far outclassed any and all cultivators. An expert naturally acted without being gentle. By doing so, this jade in the stone's worth inflated significantly. Everyone wanted to gamble. Jade-armed craftsman, this 50 billion is already very high, just how much more do you want? A supercluster ancestor looked at her and slowly said, growing impatient. Qiongyu had a cold expression, "If you want the gambling stone, then you must be daring. Otherwise, you will let a good item slip away. Even good luck will be to no avail. Actually, this stone is practically a perfect treasure. What does 50 billion count for to a cultivator if you reach supervoid cultivation?" The whole place became deathly silent. Even the supercluster ancestor was in bitter contemplation. "Shall we do something for dear husband?" Hunyangzi furrowed her brow. Qiongyu was clearly exploiting this jade in the stone to earn a profit for star weapon upgrade assets. Leader Star Qingci's uprising had several including Qiongyu. Their numbers were not few, and to maintain the upgrades to so many star weapons was a very difficult task. There was no choice but to say that this was actually a good idea. But the leader's star was a future enemy. Hunyangzi did not want to simply watch Qiongyu prevail. Lianxin should do something for elder brother, too. Tang Lianxin thought. At this moment, the jade in the stone's price had already reached 70 billion. However, Qiongyu did not like any of the magic weapons her counterparts used to barter, always showing now expression. The Lu Fang beside her already was impatient and surreptitiously hinted to Qiongyu to finish the transaction and be done with this place. Just at this moment, an ice-cold sentence came into the world. This jade in the stone is worthless. The entire place fell silent. This sentence could be said to be grating against this astronomical number. Everyone followed the voice to see Tang Lianxin. Qiongyu also spotted the solitary star. With a chill contained in her eyes, she pursed her lips and scoffed. You naturally feel it is worthless since you are unable to pay. The jade-armed craftsman's words made everyone in the hall laugh. Tang Lianxin was unfazed. Jade-armed craftsman, you have had your moment. I feel that selling this for 100 million is a big enough profit. If you do not believe me, then open the stone. Only worth 100 million. Even those snowflakes covering the stone would be worth more than this price. Forget the skepticism of those cultivators, even Qiongyu herself jeered. An amateur is an amateur. Qiongyu was always hostile towards Su Xing. She was still brooding over that matter from back then in Evil Smiting Hall, and she did not have a favorable impression of the solitary star at all. Sneering, if she could not redeem face, then even a gambling stone worth 10 billion would immediately become as worthless as Tang Lianxin said. Thus, Qiongyu evilly said, playing expert in front of me, you are too inexperienced. If opening it is not worth this price, what will you give in exchange to everyone here today? Do not be impulsive. Tang Lianxin was still very apathetic. I did not ask you to open it at all. To leave the price at 50 billion is not profitable, why not sell at 100 million? These words were even more malicious, forcing Qiongyu into a dead end. Qiongyu stared as if her throat had been lodged with a fishbone. She heaved for a while and then inwardly cursed, birds of a feather really do flock together. Little sister has accompanied an arrogant man and is herself unaware of the immensity of heaven and earth. Have you any answer? Everyone could then see from their relation that the two were star generals, already hostile to one another. Tang Lianxin said, if you truly want to gamble, Lianxin will naturally oblige you. Saying this, her fingers snapped, and several items appeared on the table. Everyone looked and drew in a breath. Magic weapons, rare books, spirit stones, spirit medicines, and more, which were equivalent to 10 billion, more or less. 10 billion, do you dare bet? Qiongyu gazed at Tang Lianxin and sneered, you are so certain about this. She blinked her crafty eyes and hesitated for a bit, coldly saying, I shall give you a chance. So long as you apologize to everyone here, there is still time for regret. Would your man agree to 10 billion? Tang Lianxin shook her head, Qiongyu, do you actually not know? The white scales that rock produces, and the spirit jade obtained are not the same. Could it be you are unable to see that this is white bone flower? Everyone was startled. White bone flower, that is, the snow-white layer of scales on the jade in the stone's surface. It had the mien of an alluring woman, calling you to love it dearly. It endeared you to treat it as the real thing, yet it would sinisterly become a double-edged sword, and with a kacha, you would die a ghastly death in pieces. 2. Qiongyu was indefinitely gloomy, utterly silent. All of the cultivators were startled to hear her words and nervously eyed the pair. Having reached this juncture, Qiongyu could not possibly shrink back. If she did not cut it open, she would lose even more wretchedly. The stone could not be sold anymore anyway, and she was even accused of swindling. The girl's expression was considerably brilliant. Qiongyu seemed to have been forced onto the gallows by Tang Lianxin. She grit her teeth as she took up the stone and struck it with her dragon-carving hammer, phoenix engraving nail. With a crisp bang, suddenly, as if she had hammered into a person's head, white paste splattered. The jade in the stone cracked. Hammer after hammer, as if pounding a cultivator's chest, the supercluster ancestor did not even dare breathe. Finally, they heard a guanglang, 3, and the jade in the stones outside shattered. The inside was a clump of dust. Suddenly, the hall was absolutely silent. A hollow jade in the stone. Instantly, 50 billion was compensated. Qiongyu's expression was unsightly, as if she had already known this result, but she glared at Tang Lianxin with hatred, an expression that desired to make mincemeat of her. Humph, consider yourself lucky. Qiongyu tossed the stone, leaving. As for the bet she agreed to, she had no thoughts of fulfilling it from the start. As if she would, to give her future enemy an advantage, what a joke. She was not so stupid. Just at this moment, a gentle womanly voice came from the doorway. Jade-armed craftsman, could it be you are reaping the consequences of your own words? A beautiful woman daintily walked out. Tang Lianxin was stunned. Master. She was precisely Ju Yueka. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.